different names are given to it. But the emergence of this whole area has come from the hydropower industry. Because hydro was what we were doing for years. Pump storage was known. It's a 60-year-old thing which is actually known to people. But I think in the past what happened is prohibitive costs and other issues, and also a lack of focus in how to execute this has been not in favor of the development of the pump storage projects. Today we are in a very, very important day. Amongst us, we have some very big stalwarts. I will tell you on the dais, I'm calling first the president of the chamber, the Federation of Telangana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and may I get Suresh Kumar Singhal Saab with a very big hand here, joining us. भाई ऊर्जा होना चाहिए, अच्छा ताली बजना चाहिए. Energy industry cannot be light. So we have amongst us the next very important man for us, who is right now, Mishra Saab will join at about 4-5, the Special Secretary Energy, who is the chair also for the day. He will be coming in by about 4-5, but before that let me introduce the man for whom we have actually made a move or pushed this meeting. It is none other than Dr. S. Ramana Reddy. Ramana Reddy Saab needs no introduction in Andhra and Telangana, but I am not just praising him just like that. I have been literally a kind of a mentee of Yogendra Prasad, Dr. V. Krishnamurthy, and all these big people, and I have authored biographies on them. I'm biographer of 3 prime ministers. I have written 5 more books, including a book called India Brand is Superpowering Brand India that came during the time of Kalam Saab. The only 2 contemporary books is India 2020 by Abdul Kalam Saab or Hamari Kitab India Brandished Superpowering Brand India. I'm doing the 6th revised edition of the book to tell India how we will go forward. So after doing all these things and meeting so many top people and extraordinary people, including one of my dearest friends is Tarun Kapoor. Unfortunately, his busyness and schedule is so much that we wanted a message from him, but he has said, you go and declare I am having everything. So he has also congratulated you for what you have done. We have told him that this is the transformation that has happened. 20 gigawatt of projects are moving on the ground in the state of Andhra Pradesh. So my target is nothing when I say 100 gigawatts total by 2032, because today you will see the white paper release. It will show you 69 gigawatt are already planned. And in fact, out of that, Andhra Pradesh, under him, that time when he was the vice chairman and managing director of NREDCAP, New and Renewable Development Corporation of Andhra Pradesh, that time, Ramana Reddy Saab in 4 flat years brought out a document which said 44 gigawatt of pump storage potential in Andhra Pradesh. And I believe, sir, this is all only on river, right? Right now we have not even assessed the off river, right? So imagine, only the on river potential. That means which sites which can be located closer to the river bodies or dams or sources of water, but there is a huge opportunity for off river. So even if only on river one state has got a potential of 44 gigawatt in pump storage, and they are already doing 50% of that, and I think it will come up in 4 or 5 years at least. So I am saying this is a revolution. In 30 years, 40 years that I have seen here, I haven't seen any officer who has attempted this. And this is not an attempt, he has brought it on the ground. So please give him a big hand. Another man, if we don't get the forces together, nothing happens, that's physics. And if you look at the whole thing, we have amongst us a great stalwart, Mr. MAKP Singh, the former member Hydro. He just retired as a Hydro member, but he's the man who pushed this policy at the Central Electricity Authority. He's amongst us right here in Andhra Pradesh. And without the team of Singh and our friend Dr. Reddy, it cannot be possible. So you must recognize these officers. Remember that we made this noise here, brought here in this room, and in Telangana we said this, Then may I request my very good friend, Mr. PVSN Murty. Murty Saab needs no introduction in the sector. He has been a stalwart with Alstom. He has been also the man who actually led Voith Hydro for many years. So Voith is another world leader because the family of turbines came from Voith, and this family of turbines was like Kaplan. The name is coming from the family itself. So this is the origin. I also worked for MAN, the company of Rudolph Diesel. I was many years the head of MAN for India and Asia. So some kind of link there. Murty sir, please join us on the dais. Please give a big hand. He is our regional director here for REPA, the Renewable Energy Promotion Association in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. He sits here, but he's for the entire South. He's our Southern regional director. And I have my very good friend, another great stalwart, without whom the power systems of the country would not have been standardized. He brought Central Power Research Institute from a 100 crore entity to a 500 crores entity. This is not a business, it's a Central Power Research Institute does high voltage testing. That's what we know them for. But every rotating equipment maker will have to go to them. And he's amongst us. It is N. Murugesan. Murugesan Saab, please give a big hand to N. Murugesan. He is a global authority on smart grids. And if you look at the connectivity, the pumped hydro will bring the smart grid. It's a component of making the grid smart. So it's not about smart grid, it is about making the grid smart. So one of the issues in pump storage will also be how you handle the grid frequency. So today he will throw some light on why the pump storage is important for grid frequency maintenance. No man better than him can explain this. So we have Murugesan amongst us. So I think we have all, anybody I missed?
Mr. Bawa.
Our great man, the powerful Mr. Bawa, always in the picture. He's taking some videos, so if he's comfortable continuing video, he can join us any moment and time. Bawa sahab, please give a big hand to GS Bawa. Bawa sahab is a very old friend of mine and also a man who's in the aviation infrastructure sector. He connected with us because we are working on green infrastructure with him, and I think energy also, if you look at the larger dimension as infrastructure, energy and infrastructure is one common area, and we can say infrastructure is the umbrella of all. Because if you go there, you build roads, you build airports, you build every other infrastructure you build, you need energy. Energy is the prime mover and driver of all this infrastructure. So there is a symbiotic relationship. So we have people like him with us, and we are thankful that we have him right here today amongst us. And we will have Mr. Ajay Mishra Saab, the Special Secretary Telangana, who has been in touch with me for a decade or so. He will join us to chair this meeting, and then we will announce our white paper and other thing. But I thought we will start the discussions, which is more important for us today. So with the permission of our President,
Yes, sir.
Jindal Saab, I will put some light on what is pump storage, why, and basics, Then I think the best man to speak on these subjects are, MAKP Singh, Ramana Reddy. They would tell you better what happened and why. Some storyline will come. So, I don't know, Tyaga, can we, before that, show the Pinnapuram video? Is it possible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Greenco video. This is the project that is coming first on the ground. We have this project because see, there is a Purulia pump
Helping Act.
See, the Purulia pump storage scheme it is in Assam and that region Arunachal. Yeah. So which one, sir? West Bengal. So basically, that scheme still has to get the implementation. It's come, but it's not operating still. That's the whole thing. So the last I heard is problems of vibration. In the pump mode it operated, but at the end of the day we cannot, even though JICA has funded it, all this has happened, we cannot see the operation of a pump storage. So the pump storage that is operating in India, one famous pump storage is in Maharashtra, you must be knowing, the Govt scheme. Are you aware about the Govt scheme? How many people? It's a 250 megawatt project, and we gave the award to the Govt scheme also, and that is operating project. And it is a roller compacted concrete technology because they use fly ash from the thermal power plant to construct infrastructure. So that is a faster speed and time. It's long lasting. It's also seismic resistance. There are a lot of qualities in the roller compacted concrete. And India was the country which did roller compacted in the project before China did. So now China has done many, but I say that India was the first. That was Govt Pump Storage was Asia's first roller compacted concrete dam and a pump storage scheme, right? So there are some such known pump storage scheme. The Teri is building. Teri's 1000 megawatt pump storage will come up. Parallelly, while we are discussing all this, we are also seeing the development of Gandhi Sagar, which is 1900 megawatt now, started as 1440 megawatt, but 1920 megawatt it will be. Similar machines like what is going to Pinnapuram. I saw the machines thanks to Ramana Saab. We visited the site in Pinnapuram. We saw its technology there. And I'm telling you, we are waiting for a big revolution happening in this country. What I am seeing is my very aankhein khush ho gayi. I was very happy to see what I saw. You know, it's like 100-kilometer radius. Within that radius, we are making like no Taj Mahal or anything can be built like that. It's like a swarga for the people who will receive employment, deployment, everything. We thought, I built the 2 into 12 megawatt captive power plant for Tadpatri cement plant of L&T that time. It was Ultratech cement. That time I told the great A.M. Nayak that isko tum bechega to tum galti karega. And that exactly happened. Ultratech cement is now the brand of Birlas. So Grasim nahi bolta hai, abhi Ultratech. It was in Andhra. It is a Tadpatri. So that time the first 1 million ton was operated without any grid. So we brought 2 12 megawatt engines of MAN and we pumped those engines and we operated with high torque, starting torque and all, those rolling mills. And we operated the 1 million ton for at least a year without any grid support. Then grid came, we did the grid parallel operation. So my Karmabhumi is Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, the undivided. So I'm coming back to see the support for the pump storage now. So it's like coming back to the same place. So I tell you, Andhra has been very unique. It has always showed the way to the country. Whether Andhra and Telangana, let's put it together. So even the electricity reforms, if you see, the first model was the Andhra model, which can say now Andhra Telangana model. Am I right, sir? Yeah, both of them. So as you go on doing, this reforms will keep coming. So before that, I thought this small video they have sent, Greenco. So we want you to see this small presentation, a video presentation. Can we run it, please? So in that presentation, you must have seen the Pinnapuram thing coming. and you must have seen 6.68 gigawatt. That was the total size. This is the world's largest integrated renewable energy project as of now. So please give a big hand. Before that, the largest project was, two projects were there in India which were solar. One is your Pavagada scheme, which is a 2050 megawatt, 160 kilometers from, Bengaluru. The project was built because I gave the idea to the then minister that what we have to do, we don't have to buy farmer land. His one question was, how will you build solar, sir? 5 acre required. I said, why you are buying farm? They said, problem, farmer will not give land. I said, we don't have to buy the land. We have to make them the partners in the project. What was the idea behind that? I'll tell you. Land acquisition, when you do, you generally send the leading man of the family to the, I'll tell you, literally send him to dogs. Because you buy that, the family then starts pressurizing for the funds. And the next generation will misuse that fund. So instead of that, if a long-term engagement of the concerned, project affected people is there, it's a different game. So what happened in Pavagada was, first time it was laid, that lease rental was given for 30 years, 29 point some years, and PPA was 25 years. This perfectly fitted the model. So suddenly the solar moved, and resulting in the Badla plant also, because then Badla in Rajasthan was 2150 megawatt, and in between the Chinese built a plant for 2100 megawatt. So 1, 2, 3 is, the largest plant is now Badla. Second plant is the China, I forget the location. The third one is Pavagada. So these are the large projects, and they are only solar. So there is no integrated renewable energy project in the country. So the first ever integrated idea, you must have seen ArcelorMittal building a steel plant there. 4,000 megawatt solar, out of that 1,000 is contracted with the ArcelorMittal facility. So they did not have to struggle for power access. So they saw location power access, so they will buy that power and operate the steel plant. So you see integrate downstream, Ramana will clarify further, downstream production of green ammonia and green hydrogen, right sir? So basically it's the most integrated approach to development, energy development. And what happens to the region is industry which are dependent on this peak power, let's say for example data centers. Data centers throw up a lot of harmonics. Very few people may know the subject of harmonics. Harmonics are electronic pollution in simple language. I'm not complicating. I don't want to be a classical engineer. I want to say it's electronic pollution. This goes undetected in the grid. And this generated from so many areas, including solar will generate it, which I would say solar and wind will generate harmonics. And that is different type of harmonics. There are different type of harmonics if you go and study. So each harmonics has an impact on equipment, impact on assets. So ultimately this impact on assets can only be squared up by using ideas like pump storage. It can't be cured off. Either you build capacitor banks, which is active harmonic filters, that was also to be deployed, but otherwise you have to use the pump storage technology even to ensure that the harmonics and capacity of what you call as the power factors are better. So this pump storage project is not just only to give electricity, it is to strengthen our grids and to be able to offtake electricity to the point of optimization. I'll give you one figure today. Right now when we are in this room, we have reached almost 450 gigawatt of installed capacity in the country, 446 to be precise, of which we have not ramped up. POSOCO's last data was hovering around 255 to 56 gigawatt at any point of time of peak offtake. Reason for this is the unavailability of hydro beyond a point. We have only 47 gigawatt of hydro. So if we had 60 gigawatt hydro, we would have ramped it up closer to 300. So today we are operating at 58%. And if you see the intermittence of solar will be operating for maximum 6 hours. 5 to 6 hours, that's what we get. You can say Rajasthan is a natural bank. If you build more over there, because the sun sets in the Rajasthan, the extreme side, so we get about 1.5 hours more. So you need to understand this is a natural battery situation for Rajasthan. So Jaisalmer, Barmer, Bikaner, I've recommended to them in 2022 that they should build their 40 gigawatt potential there. So they can do solar. But now they have also come to pump storage. Day before yesterday, because of my constant talk, the Chief Minister of Rajasthan announced that he will go into pump storage. So the first announcement, there's a family, unfortunately they're not here, one of the royal families is my friend. So they are wanting to push this agenda. So I may get a meeting in the end of this month to go to Rajasthan and tell them what to do. So my job is to encourage the states, because Ramana Sahab has taken the baton. He has run a beautiful, I would say lap. Now all of us have to hold hand and try to run the lap. So about a dozen states have to run the same race. what he has done. So it's a difficult job, but not an impossible job. So this is the reason we are all here, and we will hear the experts as we go along. And without, delaying or making further approach to this, there are a lot of things in the white paper, so it will reveal itself as we go. I want MAKP Singh, our member CA, to throw the light on the brief on where do we stand, what is the pump storage situation, and all other things. And आपके बोलने के बाद I will like the president, because मैं थोड़ा चाहूँगा कि आप बोल दें जिससे कि वो pump storage फिर ये बात करें हमारे president.
Thank you, Ajay sir. Good evening, friends. It's my pleasure to be with you today, and I am thankful to Ajay for giving me invite to attend this program. Actually, rightly said that this PSP technology is not a new one. Actually, it existed long back, but we could not see more projects in our country. Right now, we have a capacity of only installed capacity of 4.75 gigawatt only. But out of that, many of the projects are not working, and even the Sardar Solar project, which is the largest PSP, is still not commissioned in the pump storage mode. It's functioning in the conventional mode. So the reason behind that was that we were power deficit country actually. Hardly we were having power surplus during the daytime when we can think of pumping the water and use for utilization in the evening hours. So the main reason was that we were power deficit. Only in last few years we have moved from power deficit to power surplus. And after our government's ambitious plan of 500 gigawatt and 50% installed capacity in RE by 2030 actually, we are now just thinking of how to utilize best our surplus power from the solar and wind actually to be utilized to provide the round the clock uninterrupted power actually to all the utilities, even the industries actually. At the time when we were having this concept of PSPs, we were very low in the power per capita power consumption. Right now also our per capita consumption is 1/3 of the world actually. So that is also a factor which will help us to boost our per capita consumption if we can, because we were suppressing the demand actually. The demand was there, but we could not supply it actually. So once this 500 gigawatt gets commissioned actually. Yes. We were having at the time very high ANTC losses actually. So these losses actually, because of that, the distribution companies, they never ventured into supplying the power to some of the areas where they were not earning the revenues actually. So, and that's why they could not put the demand with the generating companies. Now, with the ambitious project of improving this profile of AT&C losses, we are now seeing that in the coming days we will see these figure within single digit. That will be a big transformation of the power sector, where we can see this very low AT&C losses actually. That was a time when we were having very profile of very low voltage actually. Hardly in the village ends you could see the bulb burning to this fullest luminosity actually, because voltage was very low. 230 was almost 150 something volt. So that sort of scenario was there, and at that time we could not think of PSPs. And if we see the last 2-3 years of our developing story in the power sector, we are now seeing so many PSPs coming up. We are now seeing so many PSPs coming up, and with these PSPs there is a transformation that the people have started seeing some value in this sector. Otherwise, only the central PSUs and state governments were putting up plants actually. Now, the many private developers are taking part actually. To tell you the figures, like every week we are receiving one proposal of almost 1.5 gigawatt for our DPR clearances, concurrence actually. So that sort of response is there from the people. Right now in CA, proposals of almost 60,000 gigawatts are under consideration. DPRs are under preparations, and to facilitate the developers to early commission these projects, we have now developed the guidelines for helping the developers to prepare the chapters, which we have now made more simplified. Even to the extent down, we are not considering the cost component for consideration of giving concurrence to the project developers actually. Because what we think is that if we are able to commission those projects in this time, in the coming days we will be finding more difficulties. The Tehri example is with you actually. Still it has not seen the daylight actually. Only the conventional plant is operational, but the PSP is yet to come. Hopefully in this month they are going to commission 2 units actually in August. So that sort of scenario was there actually. Many NGOs were there which were putting spanners in the roads actually. So now at least the narrative is changing. Let us make hay during this moment when the momentum is there actually. And what happened is that people were low profile voltage. To increase the low profile voltage, what we need is that we need some sort of generation facilities which can be started immediately to improve the voltage supply, improve the frequency. So this is the generation, hydro generation, either from conventional plant or from PSP, can provide you that support. So for that it has a value. But what is happening is that we are not counting these values when we decide the tariff or when we work out the feasibility of such projects actually. So from this forum, when we are bringing our white paper, we should include in the chapter a demand for inclusion of these components to be considered while we considering the viability of such projects actually. Like we have a benchmark tariff. If a project is costing above 4.5, we think it is unviable. But in the coming days, like suppose this project takes 10 years, like Subansiri is now almost 18 years. When we start thinking of a commissioning the project after 10 years, this 4.5 rupees will be nothing like that. See, I give you example. When I was there, and when we were discussing the tariff of Uri plant actually, it was considered as the most costliest plant, and it was booked to those utilities which were overdraws, maximum overdraws. So at that time it was, now the tariff is so low that anybody cannot think of giving away its share from Uri plant. So right now we should have a vision to look about what in the next 5 to 10 years the tariff will be when these projects will be commissioned. Because any project, if we start today itself, it will take almost 4 to 5 years. So not now thinking, but after the concurrence all. The Greenco video which we saw, it has brought a paradigm shift in the hydro sector. They have given a narration to all the developers that they can bring the power plant within 36 months. And in fact, they are bringing out the variable speed machines projects. So that sort of narration is there. So variable speed takes a lot of time, about 2 to 4 months. So that is a shift, paradigm shift, thinking process, and the acceptance from the hydro sector utilities also. What we need to do is, right now with so many projects fighting for the limited resources, like our people who are the suppliers, Voith and Entries and BHL, they have the limited capacity, and everyone will be fighting to get the machines from them. So we have to give a clean demand projection of each machines to these utilities, so that they can prepare, they can be ready for supply actually, because the lead time of supply of these machines is 1 to 1.5 years. We had a recent workshop in 2 days workshop in this NTPC, where we wanted to standardize the design of the machines, so that we can offer off the shelf machine to the developers actually to buy them. The success story of the Greenco is that they have developed a model, and they are replicating almost in all the projects. Like Pinapuram model is being replaced in Gandhi Sagar also. So that sort of scenario, if it is possible for developers, it will be win-win situation, not only for the developers but for the buyers also of the power from that. So that is a thing which have to be think of. Other factor that today is going to disturb our the growth story is that we don't have the many these contractors left in the field actually. Because that was the time when the hydro sector was dying and the thermal sector was picking up because they have a very low gestation period. Hydro takes almost 10 years actually. So we have only few limited construction companies actually who can take up such a large project actually, because this is a huge capacity where a lot of money is involved actually. So like if we take a cost of 1000 project at a 7 rupees per crore, so it takes 7,000 crore rupees. It is a huge amount. So what we think of is that the contractor should be there, they should have the financial strength also. Moreover, we have to give a green signal to the financing institutions also, that since this is a as growing story and a story that is going to be successful, they have to have a assurance that their money will be back, so they can supply that they can fund these projects at a very low cost of return, interest rate. Like right now, people are finding very difficulty to get a rate of even 8% interest. So that sort of if we can give a green signal through our white paper that these financial institutions have very low risk in funding these projects, we can help the developers to get bargain with those institutions at a cost of 6 to 7% rate of interest actually. Further, we have to think of many innovative solutions how this market will develop actually. Right now we think that it is a 25% loss, whatever power has been pumped, we'll get 75% in the evening, and we have opened up the HP dam actually for day ahead market, where the price capping will be like almost 20 rupees. So a power of 7 rupees can be sold to 10 rupees. That's a huge benefit that is being seen through this project. So the developers should be given some playing field also, where they can sell their product at some remunerations which makes up loss during the monsoon, during the construction period where the IDC is very high actually, because IDC eats away a lot of their margin actually. We had also tried to build up a narration that these projects are not disturbing the ecosystem or ecology or of the livelihood of the people actually, like Iyer Saab said that R&R issues. We are giving a huge opportunities for all those people where these projects are going to come up, like infrastructure we develop. That is the sign, very first sign of development of an area where roads connectivity improves actually. We are giving up a initial job opportunities for low skilled power for the nearby people, like very unskilled categories actually. Besides that, we give them opportunity for small businesses like operating the trucks, moving the goods from one place to another, people for small petty shops also. That signal, so we have a Ministry of Power has a program of LEHR, large hydro outreach. So we have to reach to these people and tell them what are the benefits coming out, so that we don't get the resistance from these people. We have to break their resistance. Further, there are many initiatives that Government of India has taken, like reimbursement of state GST to the developers. Further, we have asked the states to cooperate once the project is allocated to their joint ventures with them actually, because law and order is the subject of the state, and law and order is the only major concern whereby the project get delayed actually. A delayed projects can really make a viable project unviable. So we are giving an incentives to those states actually in form of many other ways, by which like financial grants also, like equity, bearing their equity part, if they cooperate actually in giving support to the project like and state earlier had a narration that project will come, what will they get? So we have to make a point in this project, what state is earning from this project. It is not only the power that is they will get from these hydro projects, but unfortunately from PSPs, they being the ultimate consumer of the power, like 25%, we cannot afford to give them any free power. But in the sense of job, in sense of infrastructure development of the economy of the state itself, because states is going to earn the GST actually, and many more manufacturing capacity will also develop. These hydro projects are the major consumers of the cement and steel actually. Like I give you example of Sardar Sarovar, it is the largest project which has consumed in terms of consumption of cement. The quantum of cement that has gone into building the dam is that we can construct a road around the equator. That's amount of cement has gone into it. And think about it, they have a in the Narmada Valley, they have a project of 300 small and micro hydro projects and major hydro projects already are there actually, some more to come up. So what quantum of cement and steel, like Iyer Savar said that they were talking about UltraTech. So we can think of development in our country itself. So when we are talking of Make in India, these are the developing stories which are going to give the impetus to development of our economy, increase our GDP, and moreover, this is area in which we can think of increasing the employability of our low skill manpower also. Other factors that are going to help is to the grid is that we can instantly put on these projects as and when we want, like whenever the demand picks up. So that is one factor, but other opportunities are there of these PSPs actually. Like we can think of all those projects which are especially irrigation based canal projects actually, how to utilize that water also for making the operate in the pump storage mode actually. That we have to think actually, we have to look after such opportunities also. Besides what we have seen that there is resistance from building this pump storage project on the river, but now this we have popularized a concept of closed loop open this project actually, upstream project. So it is up to us actually to give a incentive to all those people who bring out the locations of these projects where we can really make them these projects actually. Like Australian University has made a map of all those projects worldwide. We should study in detail and think which are viable one. They have just gone through they have done the tabletop exercises, and they have worked out the depressions, upper and lower levels. So out of that we have to sort out which are the ones which are more suitable for us. So and other one beautiful exercise that Andhra has done is, like they have brought out the NREDCAP, they have brought out the made the DPRs which are sellable. So they get all the clearances and they sell these DPRs to the requiring developers actually. And this type of exercises has helped the developer to avoid running for each and every clearances. You know that how much time it takes, especially to get the environmental clearance, forest clearance. It's a huge exercise actually. So we should think of such type of exercises being replicated in other states also, where the state government itself identifies the project, prepares the DPRs, get the clearance, and sell it to the developers who can start the work on at the earliest actually. So today what we have to think is that how best we can enhance the quantum of the power projects that are based on this PSP technology, because we if we fail today, then the lobby of the battery is going to overpower us, and our dream that we are thinking of having large number of PSPs will be left aside actually, because if we give them the ropeway, then the margin of the quantum of increase of the production of batteries will bring down their cost. Right now, the benefit lies with the PSP. If we fail, the benefit will go to the battery manufacturers. And you know that these are presently batteries are lithium ion, most popular ones. They are the hazards for the environment. So we have to act very fast, and this forum can play a big role in giving a boost not only to the developers, to the people also who are going to be affected in a way that they might be rehabilitated in some way. Other is that the industries that are right now facing some issues with the funding to be provided to them, even to the developers also. With this, I personally feel that this forum will do a lot of good work in this developing story of developing PSPs and ensuring the national growth by way of giving the required power for the building the momentum of the growth of the GDP. The elasticity is that if we want to have an 10% of GDP, we have to have 15% of electricity growth. So that sort of quantum. So if we are thinking of 7% GDP growth, 10% electricity growth has to be there, and this growth can come from such type of scheme right now, which we are expecting from upstream closed loop power projects. With this, I thank you all.
So after a very good insight on what is happening and how the Central Electricity Authority or the Ministry of Power thinks, I also want to welcome some very big stalwarts sitting out there. We have Mr. Panach, who is a good friend of mine. He's a Canadian citizen, and he's from Punjab. And the Panach Group is a $500 million plus group, and he's a close friend. We're working in some common areas of interest. So he's here only for this function. He traveled all the way from Ludhiana to this place. Right now he's in Ludhiana, his home state, home place. Then we have V.S. Sehgal, who just entered, very dear friend of mine, and one of the patrons of our organization, because we have AFCONS as a patron, Evonik of Germany is a patron, and it's a third patron organization, life members, patron members, we call them. And his whole team is an ex-BPCL, that's the Bharat Petroleum, number 2, best company in the country in terms of energy sector. When I say energy, then it's power energy altogether. In terms of wealth creation, it's a big company, 60 billion plus today. More than that, we can say assets 80 billion. Right, sir? I'm right? So, वो भी आए हैं इतनी दूर से, and he has got 2 of his friends with him. Reddy Saab is, I can see him right there, and the other friend has traveled all the way from Gurgaon to be with us. So, लोग चारों तरफ से आए हैं आपको मिलने, है तो ऐसा नहीं कि हैदराबाद में हो रहा है कि इंडिया हो गया यहाँ. Then we have Swarnkar, my dear friend, Electricity Day France. I personally called him, and Electricity Day France is the largest utility of France, operating predominantly nuclear energy, because Europe पूरा चला देते हैं ये लोग, ऐसा है इनका, ठीक है, ट्रेनें चल जाती हैं इनसे, हैं. So these are the people. He's come all the way from there. He's India's.
Talking about Canada?
No, sir, French है. Electricity Day France. French utility है, बहुत बड़ी है. ठीक है. We have my old friend. When I started the publishing and other things, she was with me first up. Rachna Bawa and his her husband Vikas are both here. She was with Alstom. She was a director communication for Alstom. Today it's G Energy. So because the audience में भी लोग बैठे हैं, हम डायस पे बैठे हैं, वो भी तो बैठे हैं बेचारे अच्छे अच्छे लोग, हैं. Then I should recognize the team of Kirloskar brothers. In fact, there was a beautiful meeting with the team, and their seniors were all together, and I pushed them for the idea of decentralized pump storage, जो off river है. And this is I tell you, in pumps and water systems, there is no better company in Asia than Kirloskar Brothers Limited. Please give them a big hand. और इसी तरह से, I think we have Shirdi Sai, electricals here. One of the, the Shirdi Sai electricals here. They are one of the pump storage developers. They are also here. So I will be missing, because so many stalwarts who met me off, and your energy committee is here anyway. वो भी तो join कर रहे हैं. And we have the entire team of Singreni collieries. In fact, I met the MD was very positive, Balram Saab, and may we get the Singreni collieries team here. Can we see you? Yeah, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. Wonderful, sir. So it was a wonderful meeting with them. They are doing pump storage. In fact, इनको तालियां दीजिए. ये थर्मल पावर प्लांट वाले हैं, कोल वाले, वो पंप स्टोरेज कर रहे हैं, तो सोचिए कहाँ पहुंच गई पंप स्टोरेज की बात। एंड ये इनका प्रोजेक्ट भी अभी मुझे पता चला 600 मेगावाट, तब बात हो रही थी 300 600, छोटा नहीं है फॉर अ कोलियरी टू डू दिस। ऐसे ही हमारे महाराष्ट्र के वेस्टर्न कोलफील्ड वाले, दे आर इन टच, दे आर ऑल्सो डूइंग सो। आई एम सो हैप्पी टू सी पीपल फ्रॉम द कोल इंडस्ट्री गॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन द पंप स्टोरेज एंड दे आर इन अ वेरी यूनिक पोजिशन। सी दे कैन ग्रीन, दे आर नॉट डूइंग एनी व्हाट यू कॉल ग्रीन वॉशिंग, they are actually making physical infrastructure, so please give a double hand to them. So ये हमारी audience भी कोई कम नहीं है, तो if I miss some, please pardon me if I miss some. AFCONS is here, right? Our friends, yeah, our team. But AFCONS, may I have the AFCONS, two gentlemen from AFCONS. In fact, AFCONS Infrastructure is the 13th best construction company in the world. अब आप सोच लीजिए, ये इंडियन कंपनी है, शपूर जी पॉलन जी ग्रुप कंपनी. प्लीज गिव अ बिग हैंड टू देम. मुंबई, सी दे बिल्ड द अटल टनल, दे बिल्ड द अनारम बराज आपके तेलंगाना का. दे हैव डन सो मेनी गुड वर्क. दीज आर एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी पीपल. देन वी हैव द इंडियन एनर्जी एक्सचेंज. मे आई हैव द जेंटलमैन फ्रॉम द एक्सचेंज हियर. दे आर हियर. Wonderful. BHL also here. Rao Saab has not come, but he sent our representative here, Soni Saab hai. And IEX, Indian Energy Exchange, हमारे representative इधर हैं, senior man, is the vice president. So there is an exchange angle because they are saying we will be able to make electricity at 2 rupees in the daytime, at least 3 से 4 घंटे बता रहे हैं मुझे. So if that is available, that may enable the pump storage to take the energy from the exchange and then utilize. So ये बहुत बड़ा ये है. And please give a big hand to our chief guest today and the chairman for the day, Shri Ajay Mishra Saab, former Special Secretary for Telangana, and he has done very transformation, decentralized work in the area of solar and other regions. So we are thankful that he's there. He actually is now chairs the Telangana Red Cross, and he's a stalwart in his own rights. So we have all good people around us. Now may I request the Honorable President of the Telangana Federation Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Shri S.K. Singhal Saab, to come and enlighten us. Singhal Saab is a very fantastic businessman in 3 areas. स्टील, फिर इनकी पैकेजिंग भी है, वो मेरे फादर की एरिया थी तो थोड़ा मैं कॉमनली बात कर सकता हूँ. देन थर्ड पार्ट इज पेपर. सो ही इज डूइंग वेरी यूनिक वर्क. ही ऑल्सो टोल्ड मी ही इज इनटू एरियाज लाइक पार्चमेंट पेपर एंड ऑल. सो इट्स इंटरेस्टिंग फॉर अस. सो लेट्स हियर यू सर, हाउ द इंडस्ट्री नीड्स एनर्जी और क्यों इतनी ज़रूरत है हमें.
इंडस्ट्री नीड्स ओनली एनर्जी.
आइए साहब, प्लीज गिव अ बिग हैंड.
Dignitaries on the dais, AG, Professor A.G. Iyer ji, Dr. S. Ramana Reddy ji, and Murugesan ji, PVSN Murty ji, Ajay Mishra ji, and MAKP Singh ji, and G.S. Bawa ji, and the dignitaries of the dais, participants, associations members, all the participants, good afternoon. It is a great honor to be a part of this momentous event focused on the future of energy in our great nation. I am impressed with the core theme, उज्ज्वल जल प्रवाह और उज्ज्वल ऊर्जा से मिलके ही बनेगा हमारा उज्ज्वल भारत. This further shared our vision for a brighter, more sustainable India driven by innovation in hydropower and renewable energy. Today we are gathered to discuss a transformative vision for our energy landscape, the development of pumped storage projects, PSPs, and the resurgence of hydropower. This vision is not just a technical milestone, it is a fundamental stride towards achieving energy security, economic resilience, and environmental sustainability. Understanding the Hydra project economics, innovative financing of hydro renewables, equitable and balanced approach to hydro project construction, delivering water resources for all, and by-production benefits such as flood control and irrigation support, hydropower, renewable energy, and grid stability is very much required to implement and harnessing the benefits from hydropower projects. To conclude, the path we are charting with pumped storage projects and hydropower is not just about meeting our energy needs, but about securing a sustainable, equitable, and prosperous future for all. Ujjwal Jal Pravah plus Ujjwal Urja is equal to Ujjwal Bharat is more than a theme. It is our commitment to a vision of an India that is empowered by clean, reliable energy and driven by innovative and inclusive practices. Let us continue to work together with dedication and foresight to turn this vision into reality. I can say something more about the energy. See why China is ahead in production, manufacturing, why India is lagging behind. The reason is only energy. I don't know at present what they are charging for energy, but in earlier days, the energy was very cheap there, and all the manufacturers of the world has gone to China for their production activities. Here in India, we have to look at climate change now. It is affecting the global. Everywhere, the devastation is because of climate change. It is happening. You can see in India, somewhere it is drought, somewhere it is flood. Somewhere when you have never seen in our Jammu and Kashmir, so much heat at present, whereas it should have been snowfall. But the people are crying in Jammu and Kashmir. Here in India, why don't we think about renewable energy? There are many forms of renewable energy in India. Solar is there, wind is there, now pumped storage is there, project is there. We can have, of course, people are afraid of nuclear energy. Yesterday I was talking with our professor regarding nuclear power. He said, why nuclear? Why this uranium? We don't require. We don't have in India uranium. Why we should go for nuclear? We can go for thorium, if I'm not wrong.
That's also nuclear. But
that is also a nuclear. But the thorium in India, total 30% of the thorium is available out of the global, total 30% of the global uranium is present in our India. And we can use, of course, the technology. Technology has to come, research has to be done, and we should be very serious about this thorium also. And later on, when you use thorium, when you filtrate it, there will be uranium also left over. And we can use uranium in so many other sectors, not only in energy. Friends, I request all the stalwarts sitting over here to look into totally why the coal should be used now. Because the climate change, we are suffering. Carbon emission is too high. It has to be stopped. But you cannot stop the progress of the country. At present, we don't have any choice. We have to use. I can say forcibly we have to use energy produced by coal. No other choice. But over a period of time, and not more than 10 to 15 years, I can say, we should overcome this situation and see that renewable energy in all spheres, like as I said, solar, pump storage, wind, and even thorium also. Thorium may take some time. I think we don't have the technology to use this. So, but definitely whatever is available in our country, we should strive for that. We should try to use those products which is available in plenty in our country. So this is, and industry, why there should be so high cost for energy? 7 rupees, 8 rupees, 9 rupees, and for household or commercial you can say 10 rupees. Why? And when renewable energy, yes, previously, yes, I know, I was using, the government has contracted for 7 rupees. Now that they are ready to supply the government or anybody at a rate of rupees 3 rupees, 10 paisa or 20 paisa. So we should concentrate on that. The rate of the energy should come down for the progress of the industries, development of the industries. And see, there are so many things happens when you reduce the price of the energy. The industry will develop, employment will develop. You don't need to, every time you cry that unemployment is there. But frankly speaking, there is no unemployment. Only the people who are on literate people like MCOM or PhD people, they are unemployed. But there is short of laborers. I am an industrialist. I know we are short of labor, or we can say we don't have much skilled labor. We have to concentrate on that also. Of course, this is not the forum for that. But I tell you, it is all connected with energy. So the energy part, renewable energy should be focused immediately. Thank you. Thank you all.
Wonderful, President Saab. So you are an encouragement for us. I have been in dialogue with him on these issues, and he feels that a lot can be done. And because it's one of the most active chambers, I'm trying to go to the regional chambers all around the country. And I think the best input I got last time, Reddy Saab, in 2022 was very positive, and now I'm seeing Singhal Saab also, and he's going forward further, and I believe we can work together in many areas. Now, one of the things, there are 2 more very good companies. In fact, Reddy Saab, Ramana Reddy Saab had told me EcoRen is very important, and we have representatives from EcoRen. We had a short, please stand up, gentlemen. So please give them a big hand. Another company which is actually doing a lot of work in the renewable energy. I like the name, EcoRen, Eco and renewable together, So that's a nice name, So this is good. And we also have Mr. Satyanarayanan from NHPC, just retired as Executive Director NHPC, and he's from DMR Engineering. DMR is another one. Mr. S.C. Mittal actually founded his company. He's an alumnus because I am from NIT Kurukshetra. I'm one of the NIT alumnus. I'm a distinguished alumnus recognized by my forum also. But I'm also the author of NITs and the Indian economy, the only books on the NITs. Now, So Mittal Saab has formed a beautiful company, a listed company, DMR Engineering Infrastructure. I met the team in Hyderabad, and he is from Andhra Pradesh here, right, sitting in Telangana, here, and he is the representative here, an ex-NHPC man as Talbot. Please give a big hand. So he is in charge for all their business. They are also into DPR. There are 150 plus DPRs in the area of hydro energy. So massive work they have done. Body of work is amazing, I tell you. Mr. Mittal and his team. So thanks, sir, for coming. So with this, I think now first thing is releasing of the white paper. It was a very difficult task, and without Reddy Saab and inputs from, last 1 year on, I have been interacting with our MAKP Singh ji, and because of all this, this output is here in front of you today. May I have the white paper for the release, please. सहगल साहब, आप भी आ जाइए रिलीज में, आइए, प्लीज कम. आइए, लेट हिम कम. आइए ना, सब पकड़ेंगे और क्या, सबको मिल जाएगी. हाँ, या थोड़ा सा, a little bit that side. एक मिनट, या. त्यागा, एक मिनट, त्यागा प्लीज कम. आप भी आ जाओ, लेट्स हैव यू. साथ में आ जाओ. आइए, वो भी आइए जरा, प्लीज कम, यू नो, क्योंकि दिस इज अ ग्रेट ओकेजन. प्लीज. एक व्हाइट पेपर दीजिए एक्स्ट्रा. एक मिनट, इज देयर? ओके, ओके, कैन वी हैव वन मोर? हो गया, अच्छा, ठीक है. आ जाओ, कोई बात नहीं, छोड़ दो. प्लीज कम.
Yeah, 1 minute. 1 minute.
One minute.
Come sir. Congratulations.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू. ये सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ ये है आज की, सब कुछ मसाला इसमें है. Thank you. I think we should give the audience also as we go along. Thank you all. Please congratulate yourself and give a big thanks to Andhra Pradesh and NREDCAP and our Ramana Reddy Sahab for making this happen. बड़ी तालियां बजाए इसमें. I will request Tyagarajan to help us out further. Can we help, Tyaga? Next step. Actually, we also want to honor today Ramana Reddy Sahab. It's a great occasion for us. You know, we have this Hydro Ratna Award for people who work in the area of hydro. This is rare award which is given. The first award was given to late Shri Yogendra Prasad Sahab. He was absolutely the modern day M. Vishweshriya. I'm his biographer. Cannot be a bigger figure in the country than Yogendra Prasad. And Indira Sagar Dam was built in flat 5 years, rather 4.5 years. Omkareshwar also was built. I think our one of the friends from Omkareshwar, 2 of them are here. You know, the machine provider for Omkareshwar is Murty Sahab, and Swarnkar was also part of the project, and that is also quickly developed downstream. And it was a very special machine because usme we wanted to put up the Kaplan, and yet we ended up doing the Francis, right? That's what it is. The specific speed and the technology was supposed to be Kaplan one, but they retrofitted a Francis turbine. So a difficult engineering thing there. Ramana Reddy Sahab, as I said last time, and also Singh Sahab, सबसे बड़ी मुसीबत क्या है? ये आप मशीन के ऑर्डर देंगे, ये सबसे बड़ी मुसीबत होगी. ये 100 के ऑर्डर तो हम बना लेंगे, लेकिन मशीन कौन बनाएगा? अभी तो सब ऑर्डर देखिए, अभी NDIM is the only party that has been able to deliver, and I believe that that's a news for Kirloskar also, क्योंकि अब आप तैयार हो जाइए. And I said what I have written in the white paper, if you read, मजा आएगा आपको. So we need some Indian manufacturer, and I am happy to say that I had a word with Rao Saab, and BHL is also ready, and probably people will have to pull BHL out of their this thing and give 1 order or 2 order. एक आध ऑर्डर तो BHL को भी मिल जाना चाहिए. ये क्या अकेला बेचारा NDIM भी थक जाएगा, क्योंकि वो कितने करेगा वो. ये देखिए, आपको 100 गीगावाट नहीं, अब उसका potential is more than 100. What I find is, if all the off-river thing also comes in, another 75 gigawatt will be added to this. इसका मतलब हमारी जो हाइड्रो की टारगेट है वो 300 हो जाएगी from 200. तो ये जो चीज़ें for 2 days I have been discussing and trying to find out where is the optimization. So ये off-river का भी काम बहुत अच्छा हो सकता है इसमें. And this shows a great way, as I told, battery energy storage system cannot push for more than 3 to 4 hours, and you will throw light later. But basically क्या है कि ये एक ऐसा है ना, it's like if others don't do, then we do. and उसके बाद मुसीबत, disposal की मुसीबत, ये मुसीबत, सारी environmental issues पे बैठेंगे. And then after committing the blunder, we go there and we are in blunder. Senators in America are pulling up. What have you done with me for electric vehicle? Last week I showed in LinkedIn, I put up that this is the biggest disaster, electric vehicle in the country. The batteries don't last, I'm telling you. I bought an Okinawa scooter, I name it. Okinawa scooter मैंने 2 लिया Renewable Energy Association के अंदर. ये दोनों स्कूटर अब ये चला रहे हैं हमारे तैगा साहब. 1 साल में कॉन्कॉक हो गया बैटरी. उसको हेड एंड टेल पता नहीं, इसे जापानीज कंपनी. पता चला बैटरी में जापान से नहीं आ रही है, बैटरी चाइना से आ रही थी. ठीक है, स्कूटर में जयपुर में प्लांट है, सॉरी अलवर में प्लांट है. प्लांट की हालत खराब हो गई, ओला शोला आ गए, वो भी शुरू हो गए. सब चाइना से बैटरी, सबकी बैटरी चाइना. लास्ट नहीं करेगी साहब, तीसरे साल में बोलेगा सलाम. गाड़ी आपकी व्हीकल है, आप कोई गाड़ी लेते हो आज 10 से 15 साल की उसकी लाइफ है. कमर्शियल वाइफ की ये तो 5 साल में काम कर जाएगी, इसकी ना रीसेल वैल्यू होगी. व्हाई यू आर डूइंग ऑल दिस थिंग्स? So I do not know why the car manufacturers are speaking. Nobody is talking, and this is the most dangerous thing that we are into. In fact, this is the thing. Highways are not built for electric vehicles. Sorry, you go to any highway today, it's dominated by truckers. No rule. As many of this thing you open, कितने भी आप वो क्या बोलते हैं टोलवेज ओपन करिए, सब में ट्रक खड़ा है. अच्छा, कोई डिसिप्लिन नहीं है. It only probably Bengal is having a discipline where they are giving डंडा, डायमंड आर्ट में सारे ट्रक रोक लेते हैं. वो ममता जी से सबको रोक लेती हैं, उसके बाद किसी को जाने नहीं देती. So that's the only state where you will see truckers not appearing. Otherwise, every other state I am seeing truckers entering daytime. Maharashtra, Mumbai, where there is discipline. I see now truckers coming any moment, any time in the city. तमाशा हो गया. And the roads are gone for a toss. Because monsoon में the road वैसे टूट गए. अब साहब भी बताएंगे, he is living in one of the best areas, New Bombay. उधर भी रोड टूटने लग गया. मतलब इतना हमारी डोंबिवली कल्याण का तो पूछो मत आप क्या हाल है. We are inside the MMR region, we can't reach. I pay 15 rupees tariff. Somebody was selling 3 rupees. I am paying domestic tariff of 15 rupees. What crime we have committed? In the Kalyan, Dombivli region and Thana and New Bombay, we are mad people. He is paying 13, 14 rupees a unit. I am paying 15 rupees a unit, and nobody is crying. Nobody is gone to the regulator. What the hell you doing? 7 rupees a unit. I am going to go off the power ministry on this. नहीं, अब तो हम वो हर्ड की बात छोड़िए, हम तो ये लिखेंगे क्या है ऐसा. दैट मीन्स इफ मुंबई स्टार्ट्स पेइंग, ऑब्वियसली हैदराबाद विल आल्सो बी टास्क्ड टुमारो. इट्स गोइंग टू बी, सी एवरीबडी विल बी बेल्ट. सो डोमेस्टिक टैरिफ को भी इशू होना चाहिए. एंड दिस ऑल आई एम टेलिंग यू, दिस पंप स्टोरेज गिव्स मी, व्हाट इज द एवरेज प्राइस दैट Ramana साहब told me? The discovered price for average price 4 rupees 30 paisa only. If they are generating at 4 rupees 30 paisa from pump storage and peak pricing इनकी 6 से 7 रुपया. अब इसका demonstrated evidence ये था कि what Ramana Reddy साहब told, what others told, this was also thirded by IEX in the discovered platform, Indian Energy Exchange. So they are with us. So if the exchange also is saying the same thing, all of us are speaking same language, that this is not costly power. This is an affordable power. You can bundle it with the others, and peak deficit को आप जैसे handle करेंगे, your cost will come down. Actually, it's a reverse case. It's like a cart before the horse. Without peak, you can't bring the cost down also. So this is another angle which we have to, these guys have not studied, we have to push this agenda in. So our forum will do this job. So it's a very important subject, and each one of you have a document at hand. It's very simple, 36 pages. We have given even who have got the projects and what has happened in the country. This is the most comprehensive document ever made on this sector. So with this, may I request the citation award for Ramana Reddy Saab. So this Hydro Ratna award first was to Yogendra Prasad, second to the present advisor to the Honorable Prime Minister Tarun Kapoor received the second Hydro Ratna award. Third was another chairman of NHPC, it was A.K. Singh, who is now retired. The fourth went to Bishnoi Saab, who is sitting managing director and chairman of Tehri Hydro. He was a short holding charge of NHPC also. Yesterday the evening, my dear friend Mr. R.K. Chaudhary became the new managing director of NHPC. I was with him just about last week, 10 days in Delhi. So he's now become the MD. But we hope he will also be one of the future receivers. But Ramana Reddy Saab is the fifth receiver of the award. In 20 years, only 5 times we have given this award. So please give a big hand to him. Now, obviously, may I now request the wonderful man, Dr. Ramana Reddy, to tell us. In fact, we would like to hear the story of how so fast, in barely 4 years, it's a record of sorts anywhere. I have not seen any other area, whether it's you give me African region, you give me the Asian region, you give me any region, such work by any official. So I am not just mincing words. This is probably the first time anywhere in the world such a thing has happened. So that's the story we want to hear from Ramana Reddy, sir. Please come, sir.
So thank you very much, REPA, for honoring me with this award. So I welcome all of you to all the way who have traveled from different parts of the country. So we are gathering here and releasing a white paper. It's a great honor for me and a good recognition for the best work done by NREDCAP and Andhra Pradesh State. So the whole journey started in 2019. So there was a Energy Ministers Conference held at Gujarat in 2019, somewhere October. So in that conference, the Government of India has advised all the state governments to promote PSP projects. So after coming back from that meeting, so my Secretary Energy, so the then Secretary Mr. Srikanth Nagalpalli, now he is sitting in Ministry of Power as Additional Secretary. So after reaching back to home, and there was a meeting at Honorable CM level, and what are the deliberations happened during Energy Ministers Conference. So immediately after the deliberations and discussions, then government took a decision that we will promote pumped storage projects in Andhra Pradesh. So that was the initial point in October 2019. So immediately they have assigned this task to NREDCAP, New and Renewable Energy Development Corporation, which was earlier doing promotion of solar, wind and bioenergy. So these were the aspects. And pumped storage were given in 2019. So till then there was no separate wing for hydro and pumped storage. So we were doing only small hydropower plants. So that was the beginning stage of journey what we are today. So in that meeting in the Gujarat Energy Ministers Conference, there was a presentation by Australia National University professor who has done extensive work on pumped hydro storage, and they have in fact prepared an open atlas for all the PSP sources available in India. Not only in India, they have prepared for entire world. So with satellite and imagery. So they have issued that open atlas kind of link for all the states, and it was presented in the meeting, open meeting. And with the help of this source, whatever the open atlas given by that Australian National University, and by correlating with our ground level knowledge and support from different people who are working in energy, irrigation, and whatever the information available with us. So we have selected a few sites. So there were more than 200 sites available in that open atlas if you open it. So you can see for any state, any country now, it is available now also. So we have selected around 150 sites. So that was initial, it is a purely desk work. So after discussion and further deliberations, we have chosen only 42 sites, best sites, for which we want to go ahead for next level. So initially we thought we want to prepare a small report, kind of techno-commercial feasibility report. So which is a small 10-page document which will give information about the site, availability of water and availability of the head and geographical features and access to that site. So and a little bit calculation of commercial. It is purely a kind of desk work. So by calculating all these things, we wanted to go ahead for next DPR level. So that was the initial beginning. So it was in after October that ministers conference, then all the decisions, these aspects, like preparing TCF, a techno-commercial feasibility report, we have started in November 2019. So then once the TCFRs are there with us readily available, then we have selected 39 best sites out of 42. Then we wanted to go for DPRs in a phased manner. Initially, first we have selected 7 best sites. So then later on government said that you go for next level. So altogether we are doing DPRs for 26 PSP projects in AP today. So out of 26 DPRs which are under progress, mostly 3 or 4 projects now DPRs come to final level. So remaining are in different stages. Now anytime in 3-4 months, 6 months. So depending on that site conditions, that they will go on issuing a final clearance. So in the process of making DPRs, there were so many difficulties. It is not so easy that for other solar, wind and power projects, DPR making is hardly 2-3 months process. So hydroelectric projects, DPR, it involves a lot, so many different agencies. Like if state level, you take irrigation and revenue and forest. And if you go to central level, ultimately it has to be approved by CEA, final techno-economic clearance. So central government, there is a CEA, there is a CWC, Central Water Commission, there is Geological Survey of India. These are the key agencies. Apart from this, there are many other agencies like Ministry of Environment and Forest, and there is a Indian Council of Agriculture Research related to watershed studies, and there is a National Institute of Rock Mechanics. If you want to do some kind of test for rocks, drifting studies and rock fracture test. And if there is some wildlife, there is a Wildlife Institute of India. So all these agencies, we have to keep on submitting the DPR level chapters. We call chapters for individual aspect. So we have to get approval. Initially, so we have selected different consultant by tender process. There are 6-7 agencies working with NREDCAP, like Tata Consulting Engineers, SMEC India Limited, and Indo-Canadian Construction Company, then Aqua Green, then RV Associates, then WAPCOs. So these are the different DPR agencies. Even today, these are the major agencies, if any other state also. So these are the top agencies working in these pumped hydro storage DPRs, as on today also. So there was so much gap. So then DPR agencies going to the field, and there is a field functionaries supporting us. So I found out there is some gap. So if this is the process, if we go ahead, then we cannot complete the DPRs in the given 3-year schedule time. Then I started conducting a review meeting every week. So every week on Tuesday morning, 11 o'clock, so it will be virtual review meeting. People from all stakeholders, from developer side, from DPR consultant, from concerned, suppose if it is irrigation issue, irrigation people, or revenue issue, revenue people, from NREDCAP side. So we will involve all the people, and there was a meeting. This process has started on 2020 January onwards. Then till 23-24, we have continued this process. So this is the one key factor which enabled us to learn the things and the problems in the field level and how to resolve it. And people are there, everybody is there on the online, so we can easily discuss and deliberate and how to. So when there is a problem, there will be a solution. So as a MD, I cannot find out the solution to the problem. So whoever is the rising problem, so he is the best person to even suggest and find out a solution also. So that was the mode we have adopted, and we have distributed the task to different stakeholders. Suppose if DPR consultant is responsibility, is going to the field and meeting the concerned people. If there is no result, and then it will escalate to the next my GM level. Even if it is not resolved, then it will be escalated to the MD level. So then wherever my intervention is there, I used to go and personally interact with them. And once first time I met MAKP Singh when he was a member Hydro. So there was very much a positive attitude, and sir said, whatever problem is there, directly write to me or directly call me. Even you send me a WhatsApp message, that is enough. You need not come all the way from Vijayawada to Delhi to explain the problem. That was the kind of encouragement given by CA. Sir was at that time member Hydro. In fact, when I visited Tirupati also, I went and personally met him. So he came to attend some other meeting. So that kind of encouragement was there because DPR process is complex. It will take, normally without any hindrance, if you go also, it will take 3 years time. So if there is any hindrance in the process, like acquisition of forest land or even public hearing ke baad we have to go for environmental clearance. So ultimately, when all these are ready, then only final economic clearance for DPR will be done. So if there is an hindrance at any level, so there should be immediately responsive, and immediately we have to take action. So how to resolve it? So these were the different levels. Especially these pumped hydro sites are inaccessible areas. Mostly these locations will be in the forest or in the inaccessible area where there is no road. Generally, forest people will say, if you want to make a road, either you have to acquire the forest land, you have to take a clearance. So if you want to take your vehicle, you should not cut any branch of it. Say, you cannot cut the trees. So those kind of stringent laws are there in the forest. And also, if you want to take environmental clearance also, so there initially earlier, as per the earlier procedure, we used to take 3 seasons of data, like data of water and other quality parameters, and we have to compile it and submit to Ministry of Environment and Forest. Then during the deliberations, we have raised this issue. So they are seeing earlier the CA and whatever the authorities, they were looking this PSP DPRs also similar to the traditional hydro DPRs. Traditional hydro projects where there is a large inundation of area, you are diverting the water, so there is a lot of disturbance is there. So there was a stringent process of analyzing 3 seasons like winter season, monsoon season and summer season. Then we have raised this issue. In pumped hydro storage, hardly we are using only 0.5 TMC of water to generate the power and to circulate the water into upper and lower reservoirs. So then we have raised this issue, why you want to 3 season data, there is no disturbance, there is no large area inundation. Hardly for every reservoir we are taking only 200 to 300 acres, especially for reservoir. So then put together colony and up and down roads and everything, hardly 1000 to 1500 acres per PSP project we are taking. So then they are looking these projects similar to the traditional hydro, and they are following the same procedures for clearing the DPRs. Then after raising this issue, because Andhra was doing many DPRs, so at that time we were doing initially 7, then we have started then 4, then ultimately we were doing 26 DPRs. So which is put together equivalent to rest of India, all the states put together. So then we have raised all these issues, then CA also came forward, and MOF, there was a meeting. Then everybody responded positively, everybody has encouraged to give a clearance. Then there was a cut down from 3 season data for EC, environmental clearance, to single season. So now they have categorized. Now still there are some difficulties. Earlier there was interstate clearance aspect. For example, if a river is flowing from Karnataka to Andhra, if you want to construct a PSP project, we have to take Karnataka clearance before constructing PSP. For example, if we are constructing a Chitravati balancing reservoir in Kadapa district, so then for 3 months they stopped the clearance. So we have to take Karnataka clearance. I said hardly we are using 0.4 TMC, not even 0.4, 0.235 TMC of water for constructing this PSP. Then why do I need permission from Karnataka? Then this issue was deliberated and they have raised it. Then ultimately they have relaxed this issue also. So PSP is hardly only one time you are taking water, and remaining only you are recouping the water of evaporation seepage loss. So these were the issues, nitty-gritties, all the issues we have deliberated, and Government of India side, CA, CWC also they have supported us. That's why we are here today. So by compiling all these things, then I started preparing a small booklet which will help further any people who are making DPR. So some procedures, some documents, and what are the things to be done. We have compiled a book called Compendium of Documents on PSP Projects. We have released in 2022. So that was circulated soft copy and hard copy to many agencies who are actively involved in this process. So that was the first book on especially PSPs after this 2019. So whole importance for PSP came in 2019 onwards. When Government of India started, we want to increase the renewable penetration to 500 gigawatt by 2030. So if you want to add renewables, and obviously because generation we cannot control, whenever it generates, you have to either consume, you have to store energy. So then the importance has gone up tremendously. Now there is, as per the National Electricity Plan, now 74 gigawatt of storage capacity is required. So out of which more than 45 to 50 gigawatts should come from PSP, rest from batteries. This is the plan laid out in National Electricity Plan. So if this much huge capacity, if you want to build up, the crucial step is identification of the site, preparing the DPR, and approval. It is not a document, it has to go to different agencies. Like there are 4 directorates in Central Electricity Authority, 4 directorates in CWC, which looks their specific subject. And GSI role is very crucial. So because you have to submit that geological data, so for that you have to dig the boreholes into 200 feet, 300 feet, at which level you are constructing the powerhouse. So you have to take the sample. That itself will take almost 1 year time to take the sample, send to GSI and get their approval. In the whole 3-year process of DPR making, so geotechnical survey itself will take more than 1 year. So these are the different difficulties. So now developer's role, he cannot involve in all these aspects, and day to day cannot spend his time. He cannot take so many risks in identifying the site, making DPR with all relevant approvals. So that's why Government of Andhra Pradesh has chosen to go for DPR for all the projects, so that when DPR is ready with all approvals, then it will be easy for developer to come and select the site, and then he can make investment decision to go ahead with these projects. So that was the success for Andhra Pradesh. So even today also, when developer comes to Andhra Pradesh, his main response is Andhra Pradesh has done good work, and we are able to get the document and information in single source. If you go to other states, now even we have developer has to go to site, he has to select the site, and he has to approach different approval agencies for making these DPRs. So that itself is creating a lot of confusion, and more total time and money is going to in identification of the site and preparation of the DPR. So here we have avoided all those aspects, and straight away we have reduced the time period of 3 years of making DPR. Now developer role is once he select, take a decision for investing, constructing this project, he has to only concentrate on detail engineering, then further followed by construction aspect. That normally it will take 4.5 years. So now on Andhra Pradesh, whatever you have seen, Pinnapuram is the one project which is about to commission another 6 months to 1 year. And another 2 projects by Adani Green Energy. One is in Chitravati, 500 megawatt. It is under construction. It may again take around 3 years. And there is another project at Gandikota, which is a 1000 megawatt project, which is also started construction now. It will take another 3.5 years. These are the 3 projects which are actually enter into construction phase. So remaining projects are different stages of DPR. Some are in final stage, some are in middle level, some we have just initiated 1 year back. So this is the whole story of Andhra Pradesh. And I must thank REPA and ENERTIA Foundation for continuous encouragement in doing these things. And whenever there is some problem, we used to discuss about hours together. So professors have used to call me evening times. So we had a lot of rounds of discussion, who is the right person, how to resolve this, whom I have to approach. This is a kind of continuous guidance, and is a kind of advisor to me, so how to resolve this. Because I am new to the power sector, because he has been in their power sector for the last 20-30 years. And also MAKP Singh, when he was in CA, I used to interact and I used to call him over phone, and we had so many discussions. In fact, I asked her, sir, my DPRs are not yet ready. We have completed 70%. Will you give permission for constructing lower reservoir? Because once we construct lower, we have to refill the water. Ultimately, lower reservoir should be ready by the time remaining asset is ready. So construction of lower reservoir will be in the first stage, first year. Then immediately we have to start filling the water, because some of the cases where we have chosen site in such a way that there is no readily available water source. It has to be filled only in the monsoon time. So because there is no stream nearby, so either we have to draw water from nearby reservoir through pipeline, or we have to fill in the monsoon time. So then I have asked permission, does the CA have this kind of authority to give permission to construct? Yes, once you have in principle taken approval, and in principle government has given sanction, so we will permit to construct lower reservoir pending with remaining whatever the other approvals. So that was a kind of encouragement, support from central bodies also. So this all support from central bodies and state government, it has helped in making this kind of journey in PSP so far. So what we are seeing today, and I am fortunate that the white paper release function is being held in Hyderabad, and Professor Sahab has consciously chosen this place, so that Andhra Pradesh, though I requested him to Vijayawada, but Vijayawada maybe it is difficult for everybody to reach, maybe because of connectivity issues, he has chosen Hyderabad. Okay, it is also part of Andhra Pradesh, so it is namesake it is Telangana, but we are Telugu people. So I am happy to be part of this. I am happy to be part of this great deliberation and release function of white paper. So I originally belongs to railways. So now a few months back I have joined back to railways. So now I am working in railways. Professor Sahab has called me. So my office is also in Hyderabad. So I could able to attend this meeting and grace the occasion. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We need Ramana Reddy Saab's experience in this sector. Because as I told you, this is the first time. I am very clear, in the world also, there has been no experience like this. So some place India will be leading. If we have to ever tell a recent story or a case analysis of an area where India did some lead work, I think in solar we did, in 2013 I released the 100 gigawatt solar by 2032 report. This was done at Surat. And that became, it was called RASM, Rashtriya Urja Saurya Muhim in Hindi. And in English I called it National Energy Solar Mission instead of NSM, With that time the Jawaharlal Nehru solar mission was 20 gigawatt. So that, and the 20 gigawatt also has a story. It was my meeting with Shyam Saran, then Ambassador, India's representation for climate change in United Nations. Shyam Saran was an ambassador in the UN, and he was a fantastic gentleman. Ajay, Mishra Sahab will know. So he came and told me, Sahab, we are generating a document. हम 1200 megawatt solar की करेंगे. 1200 megawatt. मैंने कहा सर, छोटी मुँह बड़ी बात, आप तो बड़े सीनियर आदमी हैं. ये 1200 सर कोई वो गीगावाट कहता हो गया सर, 1.2 गीगावाट हो गया. मैंने कहा सर ये तो बड़ी अजीब रह गया. फिर कहा यार अयर साहब आप क्या चाह रहे हैं? मतलब इट वॉज लाइक अ क्रॉस क्वेश्चन. मैंने कहा सर मेरे चाहने से नहीं होगा, पोटेंशियल देश का कम से कम 30-40 गीगावाट. ही सेड आर यू सीरियस? ही इवन आस्क्ड मी. देन आई गेव हिम सम डॉक्यूमेंट्स. आई शेयर्ड समथिंग विद हिम कि भाई ये मेरी एनालिसिस है कि दिस इज हाउ. राजस्थान के कुछ एरिया था, रन ऑफ कच्छ का आया, वो एरिया मैंने लिया, थोड़ा तमिलनाडु वाला था. आई हैड लिमिटेड डेटा दैट टाइम. There was no NASA data was not with me. I was using my own geological survey data and other things of finding solar insolation in India. So that first document came to conclusion कि भाई 30-40 तो पक्का है. So he said, Arsa, what we'll do? You can call for a summit. The summit, that time I got a lot of support because नया था. All the power secretaries and everybody joined in Delhi at Taj Mansingh. And we had a massive deliberation. Even I called 2 politicians. One was Shaina NC and the other was Kiran Rijiju. This fellow came just like that. उसको समझने का क्या सोलर. Shaina I called. Shaina बोलती है, साहब आप मेरे से बुलवाएंगे डायस पे? मैंने कहा हाँ तुम्हें बोलना पड़ेगा सोलर पे. कहती सर मैं नहीं बोलूँगी. तो I said, मैंने कहा बड़ी दिक्कत होगी. तो what I left a डायस. या तो है इससे डबल डायस थी. सारे 2-4 पावर सेक्रेटरी, प्लानिंग कमीशन, नीति आयोग सब बैठा है. एंड मैंने कहा सर मैं जा रहा हूँ. आई लेफ्ट द डायस टू अ कपल ऑफ माई फ्रेंड्स. आई सेड यू कैन. मैं इनको कॉफ़ी शॉप ले गया. कॉफ़ी शॉप ले गया. मैंने कहा यू हियर मी एंड टू स्पीक 10 minutes. यू हियर मी फॉर नेक्स्ट 15 minutes. आई गेव हर इनपुट फर्स्ट टाइम व्हाट इज सोलर. वो तैयार होगी. कहती है सर यू आर वेरी गुड टीचर. कहती मैं बोल दूंगी अब. मैंने कहा तू 10 मिनट बोल जा बस. हाफ एन आवर मैंने तेरे को इनपुट दिया. शी केम स्पोक. One of the secretaries was very angry. You called the politicians to speak. मैंने कहा she is a young politician. She is the daughter of Nana Chodasama. तभी तो कोई बीजेपी वाली बात नहीं थी. It was like a politician. She was a dynamic speaker. तो उनसे बुलवाया हमने. To make common people whom we have called to understand कि solar बड़ा important है. And result देखिए, 100 gigawatt solar became our report in 2013 in Surat. And the Prime Minister had to adopt it and MNRE had to take it. The same Tarun Kapoor was Joint Secretary, Solar, he took it forward. My friend Pandian, who was the Principal Secretary Energy, pushed the agenda. Solar park, 100 megawatt was built. 214 megawatt solar park was built. And that idea also came because he said, I said, how do we change the game? I said, you are a government. You are the landowner. And all the partners coming to you are tenants. A simple idea मैंने कहा. कहते इसका क्या मतलब है? मैंने कहा सर वो कच्छ में बना दीजिए, पाकिस्तान के पास चले जाओ, बहुत है कहीं ना कहीं उसका. Then they chose this run of Kutch, that Charanka. It became 214 megawatt largest solar park 2012. I was a special guest of honor on the 12th of April for the launch of the solar park, an idea we seeded. So the same organization is seeding always the idea. See, idea we are seeding because we have all stalwarts with us. You can see the type of, and even Ramana Reddy would be a stalwart for us. See, whoever comes to us is a stalwart for us. So that is the way this organization, Renewable Energy Association or ENERTIA Foundation has functioned. Its strength has come from the people who have joined and given input. My job is to push. A CEO is basically, or the chief is a drum beater. 90% of हम motivate करते हैं. बाकी क्या है कि you can talk to me on any engineering and the technological subject. Like Singh Saab was talking about interest rates. सिंह साहब इसको बड़े ध्यान से सुनिएगा. आपकी इंटरेस्ट रेट बहुत कॉस्टली है सरकार की. हम 2.2% में दे देंगे पैसा. मेरे को कल एडीबी फोन करता है, कहता है बोल दो सबको कि वी आर रेडी टू गिव लोन्स टू पंप स्टोरेज. डू वी रियली नीड एडीबी's लोन व्हेन माय इंटरेस्ट रेट्स आर 2.2%? आई डू नॉट नो अनलेस दैट फेलो मेक्स एन एमओयू विथ मी. सो अब ये वर्ल्ड बैंक से हमसे बात करेंगे. You know, I'm talking to BRICS Bank. BRICS Bank chief is my friend Dr. DJ Pandian, who went to AIIB. Modi Saab sent him to AIIB as our first representative to become the Vice President and Chief Investment Officer for Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. And last January, me and Tyaga attended. January में था ना sir? January या December था? Mumbai में जो हुआ था. That December he took charge of the BRICS Bank in Mumbai. Yeah, New Development Bank. So that meeting, the only person out of the banking sector, away from, was me. When I went there, he announces to people, when we did not know the R of renewables, we had a professor teaching us, telling us. So that is how he introduced me. I was flabbergasted. I said, sir, we never knew. We would not have gone the direction that you have sent us. So I can say, okay, if that is the love they have, I'll continue to do what I did. It's like you cannot tell Tendulkar how to bat, right? So I know what to do. If I wake up also, I'll speak energy, within no time. So that is in my blood, so I will keep doing it. So this is the only contribution, like motivating this sector and ensuring that the people who have performed are not forgotten and are not, I tell you, sometimes what happens, that momentum is lost. So we have the danger. Ramana has set a great momentum. It's never done before momentum. I hope we can all be party to that act where we don't allow that momentum to go. So if, Singreni Collieries, if I met and I find her doing pump storage, I tell you, my heart was so happy that day. Because when I hear they are doing pump storage, oh, I said this is, now it only adds to your hope. It further, and when Panesh says we can do it in Canada, I said, okay, we go to Hydropower and tell them what to do. You'll not believe, I traveled to Vietnam with the theme, Renewability Beyond Sustainability. I met my very good friend, Dr. Madan Mohan Sethi, who is the host, he's the Consul General of Ho Chi Minh City. And then I met the ambassador. And the one thing I said, you have 3,500 kilometer coastline. No country has got such a massive, coast. A small country, 10 crore population, is smaller than my state of Maharashtra. But our economies are similar, right? Maharashtra 511 billion, they are 471 billion. If you see, we have services economy of 52%, they have. But what is the qualitative difference? We have financials, IT, and a little bit of MICE, which is meeting, incentive, conferences, and exposition. Maharashtra is a leader, right? This is not known to people, right? ये MICE में leader है Maharashtra, not Delhi. इतने सारे exhibition location बनाए फिर भी नहीं है. Leader Maharashtra है. So with this, but what is Vietnam doing? I was stunned. Out of the 52%, which is same figure services, because manufacturing and agro was same for both the countries. But what I found there was, they have done a fantastic work. They don't have so many highways and superways, only one north to south connect from Ho Chi Minh to, this Hanoi. Otherwise, they are trying to build to other provinces. But what beauty they have. You go to even a remote village, you'll get a 3-star hotel. At a cost which is half of our 3 stars. And then the services, and crime is absolutely zero. People are friendly even if they don't know your language, right? Now what they have done, they minted money from tourism with this model. And I am trying to tell Maharashtra something different. You learn from them the tourism. And what did I plant there? Pump storage. Because they are very good in hydro. They already done hydro projects. They are in irrigation. So they said, what is this? I had a meeting with the Vietnam Chamber of Commerce Industry. So what is happening is, the other countries will also wake up. Because they are interacting with us. Solar, our white paper was flipped by one Tobias Engelmeyer. I'll tell you the name of the guy. He's from Bridge to India. इसने अपनी कंपनी बनाई है Bridge to India, and these are German fellows, European, and they went and gave my document to the Chinese. Chinese ran for their life. If 100 gigawatt India builds, then what will do? China ने क्या किया, सीधा 300 बना दिया. So China का मोटिवेशन भी हम ही, अनफॉर्चुनेटली बोलता नहीं कोई. मेरी व्हाइट पेपर से चाइना 300 गिगावाट बना रहा है. हमारी सरकार सोई पड़ी है, कैसे होगा? सो रही है अभी भी. 60-70 थोड़ी बना सकते हैं. You have to run the race. We run a 100-meter race, you have to run it in less than 10 seconds. This year, all the runners, first time in the history of Olympics, the male runners ran less than 10 seconds. The last runner was equal to record of Carl Lewis, and he broke the record of Carl Lewis. If that is the standard set, my people cannot say I've done so much of solar. You did not do. As I told you, the 40 gigawatt to be done in, not Ran of Kutch, but 40 to 50 gigawatt line in 3 districts of Rajasthan, Jaisalmer, Barmer, Bikaner. So that is enough for powering the entire lighting load of the country. So we must wake up our minds on renewable energy, and it's a hybrid development. What Ramana Reddy and team have done is not pump storage. In the garb of the pump storage is the hybrid, national hybrid integrated renewable energy development ho rahi hai. This word is not there. I have invented this word again. Just like RASM, I have invented this. So they have to adopt. They can put anything in front, no problem. But NRED is the game. And what they have done is, we call it HyREP. That is hybrid integrated renewable energy projects. Now in this, they use an S because the storage they want to talk about, because Pinnapuram has come. But actually storage is part of the whole game, because without the storage, there is nothing called renewable energy. So right now we are exploiting the closed loop, right? We have a huge opportunity in open loop also. Am I right, sir? So basically, see, Ramana Reddy sir told me everything. Sir, we are not going to go deep into technical, but we are going to see how we can, because the experts are there. We're going to bring in and execute. So we need his types to execute. We need the technical guys to say which is the no-go area. Pele. Because if you have the no-go identified, you will not make the blunder. So this is what is happening. So I'm telling you, we are in a revolution mode, and the Telangana, Andhra, if I predict 5 years from now, see, Andhra Pradesh, it will build 3 big ports in the country. Of course, there is a big mega port coming in Maharashtra, but that will take a little time. वो आने के बाद बाकी सब port छोटा हो जाएगा. I will tell you the port also. Why should I? It's called Vadhavan. It's the deepest water in the Arabian Sea. It is lying between Palghar and Danu. But before that, there will be other ports. If they come before that, they will have good business. So Andhra will build 3 ports. Telangana, what it has to do, it is landlocked. So it will need, the ports will need energy. Our Singreni collieries, they have the coal. So why they should go somewhere else? The Andhra Telangana should cooperate. हो गया वो पुराना, दो स्टेट बन गया अभी तो काम करो ना साथ में. See, you guys together, if you add the GDP, GSDP, gross state domestic product of Telangana and Andhra, they are number 2 ahead of Tamil Nadu. How many people will do this calculation? So please feel proud of this area. I've been visiting. I have not done much for Tamil Nadu because my life was such that I was roaming around like a Banjara, living, speaking Tamil, moving in Haryana and also speaking Haryanvi. Singhal will understand. Kya karan lagara se kadde ja rahe. Bole to Tamilian fellow speaking Haryanvi. What will happen to this? So I am an agnostic. I love my country and I really love my origin. I love being with my Punjabi friends. They have been very kind to me. I have maximum friends from Punjab. You see all of them around here coming. So ye India hai. So let's build it. Let's not differentiate between ourselves. Let's get together to build a map. We must make it energy intensive. I'll give you the figure, and with this I close my side and I'll request the others to speak. Basically, kya hai ki China has 2400 gigawatt at this juncture, of which 50% is thermal, 1200 gigawatt. So we are nowhere polluters. We are only 200 gigawatt. तो वो पोल्यूटर भी नहीं है जो हमारे बारे में बोल रहे हैं ना कि ये कोयला जला रहे हैं, ये कर रहे हैं ना. They are in some other zone, sir. And but immediately Chinese will wake up. I have 1200 gigawatt of renewable energy. Ask them what is their hydro. You'll be shocked. 400 gigawatt of hydropower, of which 44 gigawatt is pump storage, already built. बन गई है. Wind is about 270 gigawatt. Solar cross 300 gigawatt. So they are in different league. And now I give the economic traction. 18 trillion. They may be claiming 2021, but they are 18 trillion. 17, 18 we can accept. 16 था, 1 trillion और बढ़ गया. 17 to 18 trillion. What is India? We are jumping from 4 trillion. हम बोल रहे बहुत बड़ी बात कर ली हमने. Be careful, you are 1.5 billion ahead of them now. They are 1.44, you are 1.5. आप कुछ ऐसी बात करिए जो कम से कम 50% हो, 70% हो जो चाइना की. You don't want to run the race. You want to, and then there was a call कि हमारे पास surplus power. Latent demand, suppressed demand, load shedding. 3 points are going on. Today I don't want to talk of that subject because that subject will be mitigated using this pump storage. There is no other subject that can help you there. And this is a very deep dive. ये अगर policy makers को थोड़ी और समझ में आ गई ना मेरी बात, उसमें numbers हैं कि how you can utilize your entire 400 gigawatt which I mentioned, which is only possible using the pump storage area. So this is a dynamic, a very game-changing area for the country. Solar हो गया. CBG also white paper we did, which is a compressed biogas which go to transport sector, which is done by the same organization, and we have now done this. And this all done, believe me, with the help of people who have come here. Some of them are participating, some logos are here, like AFCONS, NHPC. NHPC has always supported us. NREDCAP, and Patel Engineering. Unfortunately, we lost. Today also, maybe we should actually remember this man. Rupen Patel died of a heart attack, the owner of Patel Engineering in America. How many of our people even know that happened? It's the best tunneling company, and we have lost the stalwart who stood. And this was just last month, So maybe we can keep a minute of silence for him, in memory, if we can, all of us, because he was trying to work in Andhra and other places. We lost a wonderful friend of ours in the sector. So I would request all of us to keep a 1 minute silence for Mr. Rupen Patel. Okay, sir, may he receive his peace. He was one man who was so passionate. When he met me, long ago, that is about 2004 or 5, he told me, Ayyar Sahab, हमें लोग ठेकेदार कहते हैं. People call us contractors, means the contractor is the better word. Thekedar was the language. So he said, we don't want to be called thekedars. At least we should be, they should at least call us infrastructure constructors or EPC companies, something like that. I said, give me 5 years, I'll do it. And those 5 years, he walked the talk with me, and it was hydro area that we took Patel Engineering to, and we pushed them in the hydro area. And that time they were a 250 crores venture. By the time I completed the whole thing with them, worked, they already became 3,000 crores. So these stories are not coming in any mass media, how people grow small. I will tell you Kirloskar brothers, sitting here. When I met R.K. Srivastava Saab, that time the company was a 300 crores venture. It did not have the traction, it was doing projects, it was making pumps and everything. Today I think you are about 3,000 crores? Yeah, so by the time Srivastava Saab went, we were already crossing 2,200 crores. So, and of course the pandemic and all, which period has always pushed every company in manufacturing down. But they became big at a time when we started working together with Kirloskar on various strategic agendas. We went into that Sardar Sarovar siphon system. It's a patented system. It's only done by them. Nobody could. And that great man built the whole thing. Concrete volute pump, nobody heard. Kirloskar did. So this is our company. We are talking of technology being imported. In Africa, when an African goes to buy a pump, he says, I want a Kirloskar. Did you hear this story? You heard the story of Bisleri. When Ramesh Chauhan sold off Campacola, I remember I used to get down at Shivaji Bridge railway station in Delhi, and there was a Campacola factory. Right? That time, George Fernandez had sent these two Coke and Pepsi out. Na? Pepsi to aayi nahi thi, Coke ko bahar nikal diya. So our own cold drinks came in. Campacola was one, and that was very popular. And dhire dhire karke, then Parle beverages came in, and they started doing it. So as they grew, then the Thumbs Up became a big brand. Then when they returned, Thumbs Up ended up selling to Coke. Coke wanted to finish the Thumbs Up and then bring the bottling capacities in. But they could not. Thumbs Up survived the bloodbath. And they used Thumbs Up to stop Pepsi from scoring over them. That's what happened, right? So if you see the whole story there, the story is, Ramesh Chauhan was very clever. He told his daughter and all, iska time nikal gaya, pani banayenge. So he was the first man to bottle the water. Now, that time we used to drink from the pipes in the railway station. As a student of NIT, I have drank on all the entire Kurukshetra belt. Every station we used to go in the passenger train and we'll drink water from the tap, And from there, everybody became conscious and they started drinking bottled water. But look at the irony. Even yesterday, I was with Saab in a food processing. I did not say anything, but no. Abhi tak ye jo bottle hai na, we are talking of R&D. Not a single person in the world is changing that container. We're talking of R&D. This little thing, we should be in fast track for the next. हम तो hydro की बातें कर रहे हैं ना अभी. देखिए मैंने इतनी छोटी सी बात की. We're still drinking in that plastic only everything ना. It's a PET bottle we are using, and we are recycling. So this is when we talk of research and development and this, I think the world is paying lip service to it. If you cannot find a container for me, a different material, you're talking advanced material science. All the bullcrap we have heard, this water bottle is coming from PET because there is some kind of petroleum lobby sitting over there to sell it. So understand the lobby. Here also there will be lobbies. Pump storage ko banaiye. Grow the pump storage if you want to save yourself from an environmental disaster. That is my warning. So now may I request Murugesan Saab. We have limited times, as we know. So take your time, 3 minutes, and brief us, and then I would request our chairman for the day, Ajay Mishra Saab, to say a few words, Murty Saab to say a few words as well, and we'll close down with Bawa Saab. Is it okay, sir? Fantastic.
Good evening, friends. And this is my second visit to this building. Way back in 2022 June, we came to release this, our former Prime Minister's bio, the same building, under the chairmanship of our President and things like that. I would like to thank Professor Iyer and Chairman Singhal Saab, Ajay Mishra ji, and my friend Mr. Singh, and I am happy to meet Mr. Ramana Reddy, who prepared so many marathon DPR, I never heard about it. And our friend Mr. Murty and Mr. Bawa, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to ask why we need to have pumped storage at all. Why do we need it now? It is there existing for last 60 years. Why now?
Energy storage.
Why energy storage? Why stability of grid? It is there even 50 years ago. Stability of grid was a major issue. Why now?
Volatility of renewable energy, solar, wind, very volatile and we need to stabilize.
Okay, it is volatile. Why we need to have solar?
Clean energy.
Why clean energy? Yes. Now we come to the topic, exact topic. Friends, I joined my first career in Tamil Nadu Electricity Board like AP Electricity Board, AB, ACB, way back in 1978. That time we are young. That time this Tamil Nadu Electricity Board put 400 megawatt pump storage, Kadambare pump storage station.
See, hear that.
I'm telling, 1978. And you see the criticism that the Tamil Nadu Electricity Board has spent all the money, wasted.
They got criticism, that's what we say.
Wasted. That time you can see 400 megawatt was a huge money for any electricity force. Unbelievable. Friends, still it is my green. Now, they keep it as a temple. The same set of people who criticized the planner that these guys have wasted the money and all the board members are criticized and now it has become a temple now. Anyway, we'll come back to that. So, I asked some questions. The things have come up. Why? Friends, how many of you know that who is the first number one polluter for the climate change? Area.
You talk of which sector?
Which sector? Tell us. Yes. Everybody was increasing the power, everybody was consuming power because a consuming power was an indication of your luxury. So, how many of you know that how much energy consumed by the American or Chinese and vice versa Indian now? I don't know. No answer from the panel. No answer from the panel. Because all stalwarts, okay, just, it is not that you do not know, you know very well, just to take some point out of it.
Per capita energy consumption.
Exactly.
Yes, per capita. What is American?
Per capita.
American or Canadian, all same. American, how much?
What's highest? Around 4,000.
No, sir. No. Huh? No,
not
too much.
Not that much. Half of
Chinese.
Half of that.
It is around 11,000 to 12,000 you can
Yes,
take.
yes.
Sir?
Hours.
Yes, around 11,000, 12,000. 11,000, 12,000. Okay, come to our neighbor, Chinese. How much?
6,000.
Around, yes, you are correct. What are we now?
1,500.
Huh? Yeah, you are correct. 1,400. So, so where were we about 30 years ago? Not from our panel, please. Huh? Less than that. 300 plus. Something like that. Now we increased by 5 times. Where are we going to be there in another 30 years?
Exactly.
Huh? 30 years or you can take 40 years. Where? From 1,400 to where will be? 20,000 no sir. Huh? 10,000 maybe 4,000, 5,000. Around that. So,
Max 5,000.
So, if we want to reach 4,000 to 5,000 units per annum, where should be our generation? What should be our installed capacity? So it has to be 5 times.
Exactly.
So it go to 15 lakh megawatt.
1.5 terawatt.
Terawatt,
That's
right?
1.5
So you are not going to reduce your power consumption. It is going on increasing every 6 years, doubling like that. So, and they found that everybody knew that later, but only when it started, ice glacier started melting, and many island water started rising, and temperature rising, then they found that our electricity generation is the first culprit. Second one was transportation and industry. These are two guys who is threatening your existence. So they put that. How many of you know about COP26?
We all know.
COP26, you know, because our Modi Sahib is going all over the world, and he has given that when you become net zero, that means when you generate something carbon, nature has to absorb it. Totally zero. When you will reach, what is the time he has given? 70. What about the commitment with Germany? Huh? 2045. You are very close. 2030. No, 2040. 2040. Already they reached 50%. 2030. That energy portfolio, 50% of the energy portfolio coming from renewables. So that is a task, and all over the world they say that number one is your thermal station. And many countries have stopped giving permission for thermal station. Now we can say that why the collieries coming to this renewables. So friends,
That's interesting.
Friends, now there is a mandate for you that you have to eliminate your thermal station. Thermal station has to be eliminated. But that is your 60% of the energy portfolio. You cannot take it now.
You cannot.
You cannot take it. It's a base load. It will give a stable power supply to you. You cannot take it out. But how do you do that? What made come to this level? Now we are talking about renewable. Renewable energy was existing. Even 50 years ago it was existing. Even 100 years ago it was existing. Why now? Not that. The reason is that when I joined CPRI in 1984, we have to do some experiment. Technology we did. Not that we great research or something. We used to do that. We put up one wind farm, just 4 kilowatt. It was a great achievement. 4 kilowatt, it takes the water out. That's it. It was a great achievement. Now you tell us, what is that one wind farm one wind generator can give? What is the maximum?
3 megawatt.
Huh?
3 megawatt.
No. It exceeded 11 megawatt.
Designs
So
are already
friends,
in the offshore.
So friends,
Offshore.
so that technology helped you that you can generate power if you put 100 numbers offshore.
Yes.
Offshore, you will get 1000 megawatt. You can see that what is our coastal line. You can generate power, right? Now what happened? Why solar right now? Why solar we are concentrating? Solar was there about 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Why now?
You can beautifully complement the PSPs.
Sir?
You can very much, you can complement the PSPs very well.
Not that. Friends, that efficiency of the solar
Yes.
panel was abysmally low.
6% once upon.
Once upon a time. Today,
6%, it was not possible. The power from the solar was 18 rupees, not very far.
Sir,
About
22 rupees.
years ago.
22 starting with 22.
22 rupees. So nobody was showing interest. Then what happened? The efficiency went from 6% to 11%. So the area has become small and investment has become half. Now what is the efficiency of a plant, the solar plant? Any idea?
24%.
Field is 19 to 20.
19
20, right.
Maximum.
So
you can-
friends, these two technology really helped you. You can put power plant in terms of few thousands of megawatt, no time. But what will happen if you go on putting, these are all not a stable power supply. So it is a transition. If any cloud goes, your power is out. But you cannot manage your power, your grid. 30%, 20%, you cannot do that. So you have now abundant. You can generate, but the grid cannot absorb it. So what is the alternative? Only storage. Storage, when you call about storage, the existing technologies are meeting not even 10%. As our Singhs have told that they are all waiting. Your battery manufacturers are waiting to see that they flood with these batteries for storage. Now already I think Power Grid has come up with 1000 megawatt hour. 1000 megawatt hour battery storage. 1000 megawatt, unbelievable. But friends, all over the world, everybody talks of smart grid. That means you need to generate power and that to use renewable energy, reliable power supply at a lowest cost. So how is it possible? The storage, you can generate it, but where will you storage now? Now technology, chemical technology is not helping you. What is to be done? All over the world, you take all the developed countries, they use first put this pump storage. Without pump storage, now you cannot absorb your solar power. So this is called, pump storage is called battery for solar and wind power.
It's a natural battery, you can say.
Natural
battery.
Nature's battery.
Yes,
That's
and 90% of your storage is only pump storage all over the world. So without pump storage, you cannot add your solar right now. Existing technology is not helping you. So pump storage is a must, and already now we are very late, very, very late. We could have been done about 20, 30 years ago. If you see Germany has 5,000 to 6,000 megawatt pump storage. Beautifully it's working. You can Google it, you can find out. So many projects are running so fantastically. So friends, this is necessary, and there are IEA International, the Energy Agency has put lots of things like that. You can go through that, and thing is that finally it is necessary, and there are some issues. Now we will do that. So the same thing like you talk about the generation, transmission and distribution. There are standards. Standards mean how now we all are interconnected. You talk about distribution, whether a meter or a substation or transmission line or your RTOs or communication, all are working with a particular standards. Without standards, nothing will work now. You cannot, smart grid framework cannot be done. But what happened?
India has the highest transmission losses when compared to other countries.
Sir?
India has the highest transmission losses.
No sir. Actually distribution only we have. In fact, we are, when we members of is here, he will compliment. And the transmission level, we have reached a respectable level of international level. International, we have reached. And sometime it is better. If you see Power Grid and all, no, they are the on par. Only we have problem in the distribution. Distribution loss is still, we have not reduced it.
Still we have some shortage of transmission in India.
I don't think, maybe sir can tell about it.
In some pockets we get
Some pockets.
conjunction during the peak.
So, friends, what I want to tell is that if we talk about, so even metering standards, we took about 15 years to standardize it because it collects the data and again it has to be used for energy management, demand side management and so many customer participation. It took so much time because there are people who do not like standardization to come. So we have done it, so to some extent now they are all like this. So whether you talk about distribution or transmission, the standardization is available, especially IEC, because we take time to copy this IEC standard. Indian standards are nothing but a replica of IEC standard. It's just a copy. We have not produced any standard in whole history, maybe one or two. Otherwise, standardization preparation is a huge task, and IEC is already done. IEC has done tremendous work. So in the pump storage also, many people are here. So that point should not be missed out of it. And without taking much time, these standards are like IEC 63198, 2075, 2775, 2023, like that 61850 are there also. There are specific standards, especially for pumped storage.
Yes.
That has to be taken care of, that should be inserted. Otherwise, again, connecting, because when you come so many stations, like we have a mandate of 2030, we need to have 500 megawatt renewable energy, out of which 103 already CA has identified. So we need to have that, this has to be taken care of it. I thank once again Professor Iyer to invite me. Thank you very much.
I think we will have a quick presentation from the Energy Exchange because they have given some input to the white paper as well, and we have included it. It's very interesting because this is the maximum transaction exchange of India. About 10% of our entire electricity trading from the trading mechanism away goes through an exchange mechanism, of which they hold almost 80% plus market share. Please come.
We had a presentation, so yeah. So till the time the presentation is up and running, like many thanks to Professor Iyer and the organizers for giving me an opportunity to speak here on this occasion. Very enlightening to hear to all the stalwarts speaking on this PSP and how the PSP is going to play a key role in the energy transition of the country going forward. I have also had a great opportunity of working with Ajay Mishra in his previous role as Energy Secretary when I was in my previous company. And many good things were done in the Telangana, especially the solar capacity additions came up in a very big way. And that was a really good experience. So now now we already had a good insights from all the experts on how PSP is going to play a key role and also the benefits of PSP. I'm here to share a short presentation as to how markets will be supporting this energy transition. So because markets has to play a key role, like right now, as Mr. Professor Iyer has mentioned, it's around 10% of the energy trading happens in the markets. But now, as per the National Electricity Plan as well, maybe going forward up to 2030, we should have at least a depth of 25% energy trading has to be through exchanges or through short term. When I say short term, it has to be less than 1 year duration. So right now, many of the contracts are tied up, 85% of the contracts are in long term. So we have to see how exchanges are going to play a role. And I'll be sharing a few slides on this. Moving on to the next slide, please. So IEX is something which I think many of you in this room already know about it. We are a premier and first exchange in the country, and we are having a portfolio of robust expertise of around 7,000 plus registered participants. Many of the RE generators are also on our platform. And in addition to the RE generators, there is a good portfolio of C&I consumers, commercial and industrial consumers who are regularly take part on the exchange trading. And we are a member of this International Power Exchange Association. And also, just to mention, in the year 23-24, we had a traded volume of 110 BU. Obviously, like across the country, the demand was around 1600 BU. So the exchange trading volumes were around 110 BU. It's less than 10%. But as I said, it's going to slowly increase. And we'll just see how we can support this energy transition in terms of supporting the energy storage, especially the PSPs also. Next slide, please. So, like a lot of things has been talked on the energy transition, but this is one slide which I just wanted to show to the delegates here. Like there are key drivers of energy transition, I would say, is the 4 things. One is the decarbonization, which is happening. More and more of RE, solar, wind, and hydropower, which is going to come into the grid. Second part, which is also important, very important, is the digitalization. On the consumer side, there is a greater digitalization and greater usage of the smart appliances which is coming in, and that is also going to drive the energy transition, like how energy efficiencies can come into picture, how demand response is going to play a role. All those things will be also a key aid in enhancing this transition. Third one is decentralization. Telangana is not new to this area. Like in Telangana, solar capacity additions was done in a decentralized manner. When I say decentralized, like instead of going for a solar park model, a lot of solar capacity additions started adding capacities were added at the substation level, at 33 bar 11 kV substation or at the Transco substation, that is 220 bar 110 kV substation. Lot of capacity additions happened at the in a decentralized manner. Obviously, it has its own advantages because we are going to reduce the transmission losses, as one of the members pointed out, and transmission losses are going to be cut down, and also it also cuts down or defers the investment. Investments are also deferred, so that is a kind of a advantage which the decentralized model of solar capacity addition brings in. Last point is on the democratization. So when I say democratization, obviously it's anyone can put a solar capacity in terms of solar rooftop. If you imagine a solar rooftop, any household can put a solar rooftop, and he also can contribute to this energy transition. Now it all depends as to how our technologies, how the technologies evolve to support it. For example, P2P transition or the virtual PPAs, and how those are going to support this kind of a democratization. That is something which is going to be seen in the future years. On the right side of the slide, obviously these are all the regulatory and policy levers which the Government of India and the many state governments have put in, which is enhancing this energy transition. Like for example, the RPO obligation for many DISCOMs, and also resource adequacy framework has been framed. And all these are going to enhance the RE offtake. In the center, the key point to be taken note of is our target is to reach around 25% by 2030, and that is as per the National Electricity Plan. Next slide, please. So, in terms of the projected trends, we already had certain insights as to how the demand is going to grow. So, these are the numbers as per the CEA outlook. We are expecting a demand of around 334 gigawatts by FY30, and that is at the all India level. And if you look at the thing, like majority of the peak demand is going to come is going to be met by the solar. Fortunately for us, majority of the peak demand is going to be met because it's going to happen more or less during the 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. time. That is going to be usually met by the solar. But the key challenge remains as to how we are going to address the non-solar peak. Evening peak. Evening peak is going to be the key challenge. Like that is something which is a question mark. Even now, as we speak, many of the states across the country are looking for sourcing peak demand, and only during the evening peak. That is primarily from 7 p.m. to midnight. So the evening peak demand is a kind of a burning problem even right now. And as we speak, many of the state utilities, they are saying that they don't want RTC power because they are very self-sufficient in the daytime. And in fact, they are having surplus power during the daytime because of the solar. And in the next slide, I'll just show there is a price of solar power, or prices during the solar hours is going below, mainly because of the surplus solar generation which is happening. So the key takeaway from this slide is peak demand is growing at a CAGR of 5% or so, and we will be in a comfortable position to meet the peak demand as a whole. But the question remains as to how we are going to address the evening peak demand, and that's where the PSPs or the energy storage, that is going to be a key lever for meeting that. Next slide, please. So this is assessment of surplus of deficit. This is a 24-hour basis. That means across the day, as I said, we should be in a comfortable position to meet the peak demand, because the peak demand is usually happening, most of the times it is happening in the 3 p.m. Time. In the 3 p.m. time slot is when the peak demand is happening, and that is going to be comfortably met through solar capacity additions. So if you're looking at a round-the-clock basis, we will be in a sufficient position, good position to meet the peak demand across the country. Even now we have met a peak demand of 250 gigawatts on 30th May, and 330 is something which we are looking at. Moving to the next slide. So this is the key issue, like evening peak. If you see the evening peak exclusively, which is happening in the non-solar hours, that's where we are going to see a kind of a deficit happening. Maybe up to 2030, the deficits are seen. And this is a key challenge as to how we are going to meet the evening peak demand. So many of the states are going in for solar. Now, having seen this problem, I think many of the states have also, SECI, for example, has started evolving the things, and they are floating this FDRE tenders, fully dispatchable RE tenders. So that's where the developers are going to bundle wind, solar, as well as storage, and maybe deliver a 24 hours RTC profile. That is something, that's one of the solutions, but we have to do a good amount of things on the energy storage front, and that is where PSP is going to help us. And this particular slide is going to drive home the point that evening peak is there, and it has to be addressed through the energy storage mechanisms. Next slide, please. So in this particular slide, if you have a look, it is clearly evident, like as an exchange which is having a good volumes across the country. This is data which has been captured for day-ahead market is the DAM. So May 23 and May 24. If you look at that, this is a brown market. Basically here coal capacities have come, but obviously because of the solar capacity additions which are happening, we are seeing that 3 to 4 gigawatts incremental cell is happening during the solar hours. During the solar hours, if you see, there is a clear peak which is very evident, and it's grown by 3 to 4 gigawatts from 2023 to 2024. And obviously because of that, the black line which you see in this chart, that is basically marginal clearing price. That is dipping. That is dipping, and it is at a level of 2 to 3 rupees. So that's the thing which is happening because of the excess solar which is coming into the grid. Now it is up to the various stakeholders to make use of it. Like from a PSP point of view, obviously you'll have to see how you can shift it and maybe use that excess solar energy during the evening times. But from a DISCOM point of view, if they want to balance, they need to see how they can bring in more demand in that time. Maybe agricultural demand. Like Telangana is something which has done, and they've already shifted the agricultural demand because they have started giving morning hour supply also. 24-hour supply is there, and obviously the farmers will prefer supply during the daytime. So more or less agricultural demand has shifted to the morning times in states like Telangana, but in other states in the country, it's all rostered. Like it's not 24 hours, it's given 7 hours or 9 hours in a day. So that's where there is a potential for balancing. But from a storage perspective, there is a clear case existing there in this slide. Next slide, please. So this slide is exclusively captured for the green day-ahead market, GDAM, green day-ahead market, wherein this is the capacities of solar, REPower, so like wind, solar, as well as hydro. So even here, if you are seeing from May 23 to May 24, we are clearly seeing a kind of a upshift, like 1.5 gigawatts of additional cell is happening during the solar hours. And consequent, because of that, the MCP is clearly dipping 2 to 3 rupees. So the key takeaway from this slide is the solar capacity additions are going to come, which is welcome, but at the same time, that has to be supplemented by storage mechanisms for the developer to make advantage of it. So this is the key thing, like already some of the delegates have already mentioned this. There is a clear arbitrage opportunity, like, and this is arbitrage opportunity is here and there, and maybe for the next few years this is going to be there till the storage stabilizes and still the more storage capacities are coming into the grid. So if you see here in the solar hours, the prices are clearly between 2 to 3. And in the night times, maybe from 6 p.m. to 12 p.m. in the midnight, we are seeing the prices hitting around 10 rupees. Even now, maybe for the past few months, we are regularly seeing that the MCP for in the exchange for the evening peak hours, it's 10 rupees. And DISCOMs are prepared to purchase power at 10 rupees in the evening peak hours. At the same time, in the morning hours, many of the DISCOMs are surplus and they are actually injecting power in the exchange. So that's where we are seeing the clear arbitrage opportunity which is there for storage developers to make use of. So the other key point is the time dimension. If you see the time dimension, 3 hours is up to 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock is where the prices are low, and then again the prices started picking up maybe from around 9 o'clock or so, 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. There's a time shift of around 5 to 6 hours, and that's a sweet spot where the PSPs can come in and play a role. That is something which would be difficult for the batteries, because batteries maybe they give a kind of a storage of 2 hours or maybe 3 hours. But if the storage hours for batteries has to be enhanced, then the cost also goes up. So here this is a case where PSP can come in easily and fit and solve the problem. Next slide, please. So net, this is the last slide. I'm just summarizing whatever we just saw. The peak is there, and there is a clear arbitrage of around 6 to 7 rupees per unit between solar hours and the evening peak hours. And the PSP, as one of our delegates members already mentioned, the cost of PSP, output from PSP would be around 5 rupees per unit, and maybe some of the developers are doing it even lesser, around 450 to 5. So on a 1 cycle per day operation. So 1 cycle per day is basically 6 hours of storage, and this is what it is. Like PSPs are already commercially viable in terms of today's market thing, because the price arbitrage is there, and that's where I would like to close it. Thanks for this opportunity. Thank you.
In fact, we have included this part in a very brief, single page. This entire presentation is with the help of IX. Gentleman has helped us, so that's been included in the component, because there was, I told you, a match between what they said and what the pump storage is doing. So it was a very important part. With this, I would request our chairman, Shri Ajay Mishra Saab, to say a few words and address this forum. Mr. Asaf, please give a big hand.
Thank you, Professor IRG. First of all, I'd like to apologize for coming late, which normally I don't, but there were circumstances beyond my control, I'll say, and they were in furtherance of green energy initiatives. On a personal note, till midday I was in a family function of one death anniversary. Then I had to go to a university general body meeting where I had to emphasize on the skilling requirements for the green energy workforce to come in the decade, which I feel is generally left out, though not the focus of this meeting. And this was 1.5 hours from here, so naturally. First of all, I would like to congratulate, in real terms, not because he is being felicitated today, Dr. Ramana Reddy, whom I know for last few years. It's a path-breaking work which is being done. Murugesan, nothing against you for you having started the pumped storage thing in Tamil Nadu, but during the last few years, if I can say, Dr. Ramana Reddy has done it against many odds, I will put it, many odds, and that's why he deserves a special mention today. There is not much for me to say after all the dignitaries on the dais have said, and what many of you sitting in front of me know more than me. The pumped storage is basically in the line of renewable energy. Why we are talking against coal or thermal power? Because it is mining first, depleting a resource which takes few hundred years to come in few hours or few years. When we talk about stabilizing the energy requirement 24/7, because solar and wind predominantly are intermittent. The battery system storage is also dependent on mining and the consequential ill effects on the environment of mining. Plus, it is not so far tested as per the claims made, that the battery will go that long and all that kind of this thing. See, pumped storage presents to us an excellent opportunity of green, renewable storage capacity, which is needed for renewable energy to make a quantum jump, I'll say. We have been increasing green energy in a very geometrical fashion, not in quantum jump. I think this has the potential. Like till 2 years back, we used to talk about green hydrogen is the area where India can be a world leader, not only in terms of quantum of energy produced, but being also able to export outside, producing more than what we require. About PSP, what are the challenges? It will not come as fast as we are thinking, because neither has solar come as fast as we thought, neither has wind come as fast as we thought. There are natural impediments, and we as a society, we as a country will take much more than 2030. No, if it comes by 2030, what we have presented in the paper today, I'll be happy. I'm reminded of a movie 5 decades back, Hathi Mere Sathi. I don't know how many you have seen, because it's a Hindi movie, but then, yes, Rajesh Khanna. So see, in the energy sector, still Hathi is my Sathi. That is a problem. Coal. See, coal and the vested interest associated with coal and, see, the DISCOM's mindset, I'll put it, that still we are not able to overcome. I'll give one more experience of mine. Last 3-4 years, except this year, I have attended the Indian Coal Markets Conference, which is held annually in Calcutta. Normally, I was invited to chair the last session on the second day, when all are preparing to go, half have gone, on renewable energy in the Indian Coal Markets Conference. I have done it few times. This year I was not able to go. I think 1.5 years back, I attended it physically, because earlier, because of COVID, it was online. So naturally, I will attend only my session, contribute whatever, and be happy. But when I attended the 2-day session, I found a different sentiment, a different upbeat environment for coal, which all of us sitting here will, see, abuse, abhor, whatever term we can use. There the, see, mindset was different. And if we see the figures, Murugesan sahab, I'll put another figure. See, the coal production in the country is increasing every year.
Yes, for sure.
Yes.
Sure. Yes.
Yes, see, the numbers are for everyone to see, on our phones to see. And so at one level, we are increasing the coal production every year, and it is being utilized. It's not that coal is being, see, produced by like solar or sun power, see.
Still we are importing.
And we are importing also. So that is the euphoria, the enthusiasm of the coal industry. See, I just want to see, put it before all of us, because see, there are also, see, people like us from the same society, from the same locality. Some countries have put a stop to new thermal power projects. In our country, I was part of, see, getting out-of-way permission for the thermal power project here in our state that has been commissioned lately. That was in 2017, I think. And few more projects were being considered by the central government, and they were sanctioned. Different things. See, our emission level will be low and all that. See, that is like Indian Coal Markets Conference. See, they, see, discussing on what are the means taken to reduce the pollution due to coal production and thermal plants. How do we move from here? How fast we move? One of the things which was told was about the government permissions. See, government permissions, one of the things which has saved our forest to some extent, I'll put it, some extent, not much, it has destroyed also, is very, very difficult to get a forest clearance. Why can't we have a similar thing for thermal power plants? Or at what rate the thermal power plant should be phased out? Normally, thermal power plants are phased out after 30 to 40 years. Telangana, it started during my time when we were given targets by Government of India. We phased out some few hundred only thermal power plants. Yes, yes. Now, 800. See, 800 we have phased out, and how much we have put during the last 5 years, commissioned. Just have a, see, for our state only. I'll not speak for the country as a whole. We have added more than 4,000 megawatt of thermal power capacity in the state. One power plant only. And nothing against Singhal, you see. Singhal added another 1,000 when I was there. Yes, yes, 2 to 600. So see, yes, yes. Super critical. So see, my point is,
And also this KTPP Bhopal Valley also 1100, sir. And now
So-
Yadadri is 4000.
So we have to think of actions where we witness quantum jump in solar energy. See, Singhal did an excellent work, because I think your power project was at an efficiency of more than 90% for few years, at least. See, last few years I have not seen the details, but it was at more than 90% efficiency, whereas see, most of the other plants are around 55 to 60%. So see, that was an excellent thing. The other thing which pumped storage is one thing which has been mentioned here of say Singareni. But then the first major solar project in the country taken up by a coal company was by Singareni. After Singareni has implemented it, Coal India has started, and the other subsidiaries of Coal India have started. So that is what is required. Quantum jump, saying no to, in any case, under any circumstances, to coal-based power. Second thing which I will mention is about the decentralization, which was very briefly mentioned by him. Yes. For about a year, we were number one in the country. See, I'm a non-engineer. I'm a politics graduate and postgraduate in politics. So when I was given the charge of energy, I didn't understand machinery and those things. So what I could do was to focus on renewable energy. Solar was the main thing here. And my predecessors did something, I carried it forward. We became number one in the country for about a year in solar. And also having an ecosystem for rooftop solar, which is decentralized to the last mile, if I can say. 3,500 megawatt of solar plants. I think average was around 19 or 20 megawatt per solar plant in this state. 19 or 20. I think we had 140 or 150 solar power plants, totaling to 3,500. At that time, this I'm saying 2017-18, in transmission losses, we used to save about 50 crores per year. And we saved, as per estimates, about 450 crores by way of infrastructure, not necessary because of decentralization. We were one of the very few states to say no to solar parks. To say no to solar parks. Government of India was like pushing down our neck. Solar park, one was proposed in Gattu Mandal in Mahbubnagar district, I remember. My own colleague, Secretary to Government of India Power, he rang me up 3 times. Do you really not want to take it up? I said no. We said no to solar park. Some benefits come from at that time were coming from the Government of India, but if I can say, the problems were more than what the little benefits we got. So decentralization of renewable energy in whatever form will also play a key role in future. That is my this thing. At one level, we were talking about wind energy reaching up to 11 megawatt per pole. I have visited those places, Murugesan sir, of Bremer port of Germany. I have a feeling the offshore wind will take much more time, because the levels there, which I can say in general, the sea depth or the base, that is more in our context, in our neighborhood, than it is there. Because there they have to go only a few hundred meters after 30 to 40 kilometers inside the sea. And that makes them more viable by way of efficiency. Here, Gujarat ventured, but then still it is not viable. So my take or my main message is more of decentralization. Now rooftop wind is also coming. It's costlier than what solar is, or rooftop solar. Yes, yes. Rooftop wind. I have seen turbines. There are 2 companies in Hyderabad which are venturing in, which have ventured into that. The cost is about double of rooftop solar. Yes, yes. One of them was given a award by our FTCCI also, I think last year. I was not in that committee, but so what I'm saying, see, that also will pave the way. Similarly, when we talk about green hydrogen, I'm aware of the problems which are there with green hydrogen: security, risk, inflammability, etc. There's a PhD scholar in Hyderabad Central University working on domestic green hydrogen. See, when he succeeds, see, see, I think domestic green hydrogen. See, when he succeeds, when it becomes viable, it's a question of time and scale. So decentralization, those efforts should be given. See, mega plants have to come. I'm not against them. But it should be supplemented by decentralized efforts which will be more sustainable. Thank you.
Now, one of the things in the pump storage itself is the, the off-river concept. Off-river will go decentralized. And that's why I invited Kirloskar, because they must deliver a machine. Because हमारी indigenous कुछ machines आनी चाहिए. क्योंकि ये capacity will not be delivered by the foreign players like Andritz or Voith or others, and with the Hitachi. I have written about those manufacturers. So we have a great opportunity to do the off-river. And I think this is an area, gray area, which our white paper has mentioned, and maybe the CA can take note of it, and I'll be pushing it to the Power Ministry, because ये ज़्यादा आसान है करना. It's much easier than doing the large pump storage, because it's a degree of difficulty. Hydro, definite challenging. PSP, less challenging. And off-river PSP, I tell you, least challenging, if we can use our minds. That's what it is. So may I request Murty Saab to say a few words, and then Bawa Saab will close for the day. And we can open up for some question answers if we have time.
Professor Iyer, dignitaries on the stage, and friends. You heard everyone talked about PSPs and everything. I just remembered we are talking about pollution and everything. So I just started my career with a thermal power plant, 1974. And I was 11 years in the working on thermal power plants, which is polluting India at that time very well. And we used to see the chimney, whether the system is working or not. If there is a smoke coming out of it, the plant is working, otherwise it's not working. That's the time, 74. And I still remember the days where we used to discuss with BHL. Machines are mostly BHL in those days. How the ESPs have to work. There used to be mechanical ESP and mechanical precipitators and the electrostatic precipitators. ESP efficiency is to be improved. There are a lot of discussions used to be with BHL. And I still remember Dr. N. Tatara, who is my first project is with APSCB, in fact. We are consultants for Kottagodam power stations. So Dr. Tatara was very dynamic, and he was one man who was driving for changes in designs for BHL. That in those days nobody can think of it, but he used to force BHL to change the designs. I think many youngsters may not be knowing Dr. N. Tatara. He is the person, big name.
We have a powerhouse.
He is the powerhouse. He is from BHU, Banaras Hindu University person. And he is the power man for AP and MP, MPLCT board and APLCT board. He has made everything. And I had an opportunity to work with him directly, at least on 3 occasions. And all the meetings used to be with him at morning 5 a.m. at his office. That's one thing we learned early in that one. And coming to this, so AP also, I think many people must be knowing it. AP is also started with hydro. Nagarjuna Sagar is the biggest hydro project of AP, which I think many people have not mentioned here. I just want to mention because as a youngster, when I was still in college also, we used to talk about Nagarjuna Sagar project. And Sri Salam. I mean, I'm coming to that, Sri Salam. And another project, Machkand, which many people may not be knowing it, which is joint with Orissa government. It's Orissa and Andhra Pradesh government common one. And today the power generation cost, do you know how much coming out of that project? It is still working. 10 paise is the cost of power which is coming out of that project. So these are some of the projects which is, and it's now great to see now we are back to hydro in PSP form in Andhra Pradesh. That is something good and great thing to see and really fascinating. In fact, I worked for almost up to 85 in thermal power only. Then 85 I shifted to hydro and I retired as a hydro man at the end of my career. That's very interesting challenges. What my say is, as Dr. Reddy also explained, it's a DPR. DPR is very important. What we call, unless the DPR is good, and then the execution. DPR to project execution is the main thing. If your DPR is good, your DPR to project execution will come up very well. If your DPR has a lot of problems, it is not complete, not covered many things, DPR to project execution make the project delayed. That's what we have seen in many places. Whatever projects, I'll say what I have seen in hydro projects, one of the best executor on time is JP. JP is, I think we have one, and I have worked with JP, so we know it. They have delivered their projects on time. The owner used to take pain in executing the project on time. Both cost and time is money. So used to monitor very well. Today we are seeing Greenco is another company which is coming up that way. I think they are going to be one of the best developers, I think, in future. So what my challenges, what I see in PSPs, DPR development and DPR to project execution, and also I think human resources. Always this is also one of my favorite subject actually. I will say human resources today are very rare what we are finding it out. The people coming out of the colleges today are not much aware of the fundamentals of the systems, because I do sit in some of the interviews in some of the companies. So I see it's very pathetic to see some of the engineers coming out of this situation. So human resources needs a lot in this sector. In this sector, we need a lot of those things. And on hydro also, there's one thing I call it sustainability actually. Sustainability for this hydro project is very important. In Voith, in 2007, we started sustainability. International Hydro Association and Voith have started a sustainability project in 2007. There's a lot of points which a developer side, we used to see. What are the points to be seen? Right from rehabilitation, where are the areas getting deployed, this one, whether they are being compensated properly or not. All these things used to be a point for this one. And at least 2 projects we have done in India about that sustainability projects we have done as a model or something like this, we have done it. The results were okay, we will say average, which were not published anywhere. We are not supposed to publish that. That's we have done. That's one area hydro needs to concentrate on, sustainability. That's very important. That's all from my side. Thank you very much.
We should not miss out Abhishek Swarnkar. Abhishek, the table is yours, and then we close. Abhishek is from Electricité de France, as I told you, largest utility of France. And he is India representation.
Thank you, Mr. Iyer, for the kind invitation to this platform and providing this platform to critique basically subject to the necessary need for push on the PSP development. And it's a pleasure to have Mr. Dr. Manna, who has played a pivotal role, especially setting the tone for the PSP development, not only in Andhra Pradesh, but it has set a tone for the whole India, majorly, and certainly all of the rest of the states. Mr. AKP Singh can also provide this guidance to other states as well, that they have the draft SOP readily available, what Andhra has done till date. So, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce myself a brief and about the EDF. So I'm Abhishek Swarnkar, and I had the privilege to be associated with key developer like Jaiprakash Associate Limited, where I had played a key pivotal role while developing Karchamwang to Omkareshwar as well as Vishnu Prayag ahead the challenging timelines. So it is not that projects cannot be done within the planned timelines, but can be done before the planned timelines as well. So
Karchamwang was 4 years flat. DP Goyal is our dear friend. He's not.
Omkareshwar, you can find all these details on the Google as well. Omkareshwar. Yes, yes.
Omkareshwar is much ahead.
6 months ahead the schedule. Omkareshwar. Karchamwang too, though having the challenges while executing, I must not mention the details about it, but having the particularly during the installation phase, but still it was commissioned 1.5 months ahead the schedule. Vishnu Prayag was having another challenge during the execution, but it was commissioned 2.5 months ahead the schedule. So it is possible to execute, but it completely depends on the developer, its interest, and the risk mitigation planned, how they have planned, how they had done the studies, like you rightly mentioned. Very critical stage is the study and the engineering phase, especially. So basically, I was on the very short note. Otherwise, I could have made a small presentation briefing about the EDF as well. So, EDF, Electricité de France, it's a 100% owned French government utility company and active into all the value chains of the electricity, be it generation, be it transmission, be it distribution. So, the majority portfolio is certainly, it's 90 gigawatt is nuclear, but EDF is also having 133 total gigawatt capacity, installed capacity, wherein 25 gigawatt is hydropower and 8 gigawatt is storage capacity, which includes 5 gigawatt of pump storage projects. So now particularly EDF has key interest in India and Nepal to develop pump storage as well as conventional hydro projects in Nepal. So we are working, especially I am leading the hydro business, but with an objective to develop 5 gigawatt portfolio by 2030 for this directing for the India and Nepal, including Nepal, basically for the conventional hydro. So Mr. Murty and Mr. Mishra has already touched the very critical points what I was thinking about to touch. Anyhow, India is, we are all aware that India is a very emerging market for the energy storage solutions, and be it battery storage or be it pump storage projects, though pump storage is not new, but is still a new subject for India. We have the last 1 decade gap for us for the development of hydropower projects has given a long gap, be it human resources, be it technology transfer, be it the technology development. So this is a gap which we are suffering with right now. So, and another very pressing challenge which we are going to face is the manpower, right labor, is whether it is skilled or whether it is the technical engineering experts. So this is the challenge, this is the pressing challenge which is about to come. When we are talking about around 60 gigawatt projects are under the SI phase, survey and investigation phase, when they come up to the construction or the development phase, certainly we will realize where we will get this manpower, skilled manpower, experts, engineers to make the designs or to review the designs, to implement those designs, to make the interfaces, to implement those at site. So this is a new pressing challenge which is about to come, which most of the developers are not realizing yet, but slowly and slowly, few of the key stalwarts have started touching these subjects on various platforms. So recently, CA and Ministry has taken certain initiatives to accelerate the development of PSPs. However, there is still a lot need to be done and a long way ahead to go for us while taking the initiatives. I can also agree to Mr. Mishra where he says 100 gigawatt when we are targeting for sorry to this. Certainly, we are targeting 60 gigawatt as of now under SNI phase. Not even, in my own opinion, not even half of that we could be able to touch it. The main reason is the seriousness of the developers and the challenges what they are facing. Not only at the planning stage, but the projects which are at the developer phase as well, which are at the DPR stage as well, the investigations at the site. So the challenges they are not able to cope up with. So there is where the authorities, where the CEA or the ministry has to come up with the kind of support which can support the developers to mitigate those challenges and issues. Now coming to the battery storage, yes, given there are inherent differences between the battery storage and pump storage. So I would, it's a very lengthy topic. I can go on for an hour or two, but certainly don't have that much time. I would request Mr. Iyer, if you can touch up to my articles which I had shared. So that is touching to all the technical figures as well as the commercial figures playing in between the battery storage as well as the pump storage. So the broader question actually comes between the BESS and the PSP. Is the optimal technology comparison. Is battery storage really comparable with PSP? Do we think so? No, it is not. Beat the CAPEX, OPEX, or the efficiency, operational life, duration. No, it is not. Even not the complete project life cycle, the raw material, or even the afterlife. Basically the decommissioning. Nowhere both are not at all comparable. So even when I will just like to touch upon, like when we are talking about the 2 hour or 3 hour or 4 hours of the battery storage, as it's a power to power, it's a basically a ratio. How much? When you increase the power from 2 hour to 3 hour, you will multiply the capex. So it is not. When we are talking about the large duration energy storage systems, it is where the PSP has to play the role, and we have to accelerate the development of the PSPs. The recent tender results we can look at the recent tender results of the FDRE or RTC, wherein a very small portion of the storage energy is there. So the recent result, it has recently came to 3.49, but is it really viable? But the time will only tell whether those projects will really see the daylight in coming months. Because as much as I had interacted with the battery manufacturers, even the battery manufacturers are surprised. No, we can't supply batteries at this level, cost level. So where we are heading to? So basically, what I understand, Mr. Iyer has already touched upon this, that the perceived cost reduction in the BS somewhat, it is virtual, driven more by geopolitical factors than actual technological advancements. So this is where the ministry and the policymakers has to review in depth that where we are planning and what we are heading to. Several developers are really attracted to battery storage because of the shortest implementation duration. The cash flow will start within a span of 15 to 18 months or maximum 24 months. So this is where they are attracted to. But they are not looking at the long duration sustainability after a 3 years or 4 years of a span. They will again need to do the maintenance OPEX, which is as equal as 2/3 of the total capex of the project. And what will happen with the afterlife of these batteries? Nothing is in discussion on any of the platforms. What about the waste management of the batteries, which is going to come after 10 years of the timeline? So however, both BESS, PHS, pump hydro storage has some similarities, but where being a technical person, I always mention that both are complementary to each other. So we have to look into the complement what battery storage can give. It can give a quick response, but for a shorter duration. But when we are in the past 1 year, if we look at the trends, IEX can confirm on that. In past few months, we have seen a new trend of the peaking power at the time of 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. around. So we are heading ahead to the peaking power requirement of around 6 to 7 hours now. If you can correct me, please.
That is something actually clearly
Yeah. So can we, so this is, then again 9 to 10. So this is where 6 to 8 hours. What can provide us that kind of backup, that quantum of backup? Battery? No. Nowhere. Nowhere. So this is where the PSP can actually play the role. JP, I have worked with JP, so that was one. Then now Greenco is coming as one serious private developer in particularly hydro. It is not against the other private developers, certainly. but actually the hydro developer needs patience.
That is most important.
Patience, because it not only takes 2 to 3 years for the studies or the engineering phase, but also around 3 to 4 years for the construction phase. And the construction phase is the most challenging, where you find most of the unforeseen risks or the unforeseen activities where you have to find the mitigations instantly if you had not done the right level of study at depths. So that's why studies or the DPR phase is very crucial while prior to taking up the construction. One more consideration for the developers I would like to touch upon is ensuring their team is equipped with the leadership, effective decision making, timely execution, which can be achieved only through the leadership equipped with the relevant knowledge and experience, supported by a team of domain experts. PSP, not only hydropower, PSPs are very different from conventional hydro. We see it as, because for the generation cycle, it is similar. But when we are talking about the pumping cycle, like being a technical person, the transients are very critical, and they are very critical during the pumping stage, not in the generation stage. When we do the transient studies for particularly, which is critical for Francis, and Francis is the main runner for pumping, because pumping. So, but here the PSP, while I was doing the PFR for NEEPCO around in 2020, so there I pressed upon this particular case, and we did the transients 5 times, and then finally we reached upon, no, it is actually coming critical on the pumping duration rather than the generation duration. That was in 2020 when we are just starting with the PSPs. So among various project phases, as I said, the construction phase of the projects is particularly very critical, involving certain cost and uncertainties as well. Risk management holds a great significance for both investors and the policymakers towards achieving the project goals through strategic planning, engineering, execution, and evaluation. One more thing, like Mr. MAKP Singh has mentioned about the workshop recently being conducted by NTPC. I was also part of that. There has been several workshops being conducted. This is I would like to give this task for you as well. Again, so there have been several workshops. Even NTPC, being a PSC, they have conducted this kind of workshop, and the topic of the workshop was for the standardization of the projects. Though technically they cannot be standardized, but what Greenco has done, they have not standardized the project. They have tested the model for one of their projects for 240 megawatt, and they are finding the projects near the same salient features had and this particularly megawatt capacity, and they are using the same model, because particularly when you are going to test the model, you are going to test this particular model for turbine for PSP, it takes around 10 to 12 months. So they are saving timelines for that. This is one what the standardization can support with.
We have included something very interesting,
which can support with, and it is not only about that. So particularly that other standardization are not possible, because particularly we always say hydro is always a tailor-made. It is a very site-specific, be it geology, be it hydrology. So you have to do that, make the tailor-made solutions. It cannot be just copy and pasted. Though it happens sometimes, but it is always different. So you have to do the tailor-made solutions. After the workshop, we had made certain inputs provided to NTPC. NTPC has collected all those inputs which can be taken up further with the ministry and the CEA for further considerations into the policy. Wherein one of the support I can see last week itself, ministry has issued, MOE FCC has issued one indication that you don't need to get the forest clearance FAC specifically for doing the site investigations and surveys. So that is one support, but it's still a lot because around 50 to 60 points we have noted during that workshop. So I will take this opportunity and request Mr. Singh if we can look into that what is the status of those points being taken during that workshop, and that actually will help not only NTPC but all the developers who are seeking actually acceleration and support from the government and the policymakers to flow with these challenges. So particularly, yes, after all this, I would like to mention collaboration among the developers, the policymakers, the authorities, and the contractors. Rather, all the stakeholders who are involved in the development process or the approving process or the concurring process, it is must. Like mentioned about the thermal or the battery, they have lobbies. But sadly, Hydro has no lobby.
No, we are the lobby.
So
this is your standing in a Hydro lobby.
So this is why I'm mentioning. Now we have to look into a positive collaboration.
Lobby. See, the problem is with these workshops is don't feel bad.
Yeah.
These workshops don't come out with any results. I have been in this business for a long time. So only the lobbying of our type where we are serious players. You know, like you said, it cannot be standardized. I'll tell you what can be standardized. Standardization, you can come to a certain capacity. Head and flow, you have to keep it away. And you can talk about megawatts. I'm telling you it's possible.
You have to also check the heads as well.
In fact, वो सारी हो जाएगी, लेकिन आपको बता रहा हूँ जो आपके terrains है ना जो, suppose Andhra है, they have found a way. See, Andhra will have a certain similarity in some projects. Now this has been repeated in Gandhi Sagar now. आपने जो बताया.
What Greenco is doing, they are trying to find the sites at the nearby similar saline features and.
स्वर्णकर साहब, मैं एक्सपीरियंस हूँ, आपको समझा रहा हूँ. स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन होगा, but you give flexibility for improvement. आप स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन के नाम पे don't make that L1 business. सबसे खतरनाक आपका business L1 है. Because when you make this L1, you end up only helping the Chinese, not Indian people. I'm sorry, I'm saying this. You know, इसको आप openly करो. There's no NTPC has to speak. Others have to speak. NHPC forum में बोलती है. Hydro ज़्यादा NHPC को पता है. NTPC still struggling with no hydro projects. What they will bring? Gurdeep is my friend. But I'm openly telling कि पहले अपने project तो करो.
L1 will not fructify.
So we have to kick the L1 and discover pricing पे आना है. So these are all discussed by our forum, not by these forums. Workshops are not discussing this. Not a single mention of that was happening.
Exactly.
फिर दो हम सब कह रहे हैं आपको हिम्मत नहीं है इनकी. ठीक है ना? तो आप workshop की बात मत करिए. So talk about REPA's work and ENERTIA. It's our forum and we will dictate what will happen. Not there. Because they don't know the subject.
Or somewhere you have to compromise.
नहीं यहाँ आप उस पे रहिए ना, मतलब जो अभी आप खत्म कर दिए. क्या है वो वर्कशॉप ऐसे 50 वर्कशॉप होते हैं दिल्ली. दिल्ली का वर्कशॉप से नहीं होगा. आंध्रा ने काम किया. Respect the Andhra what they have done.
Exactly.
Respect these officers. Stop talking about Delhi business and even Mumbai business. You know, Mumbai do commerce. Delhi will do politics. Talk about what the state governments have to do. They are done 1 dozen state. You have to make them work.
Andhra has certain, no doubt about it, that Andhra has set the tone for this.
सेंटर ने अगर इनको मदद नहीं की होती, मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ वो अफसर जो हैं, इनके नाम नहीं लिए गए. अब वो अफसर जो अगर पावर मिनिस्टर में नहीं बैठे होते, जिन्होंने मदद किया इनको, ये कर पाते क्या? So let us talk. Let us not talk of one workshop. All of you have gone because you have to go to NTPC. Forget that. NTPC has to first build its hydro plants. And Gurdeep has a massive challenge there because he's done 75 gigawatt. He's my alumnus from the NIT Kurukshetra. मैं तो प्यार करता हूँ, बंदा बढ़िया आदमी है. He is the longest serving chairman. Now उन्होंने cross कर दिया है. Time period of NHP अपना योगेंद्र प्रसाद का time cross कर चुके हैं वो. Now he will become the longest serving chairman. But has he handled the hydro? So his challenge is hydro handling. First, if NTPC builds all the hydro plants, NTPC can say, we have
That
also
is-
come
that
like, we
is-
are also now like NHPC.
That
We
is-
need 10 companies to build this. JP Bandogi, Jayaprakash got met me.
That is very unfortunate.
Your
That is
ex
very
who was with me
unfortunate.
in the photo,
Yes.
you saw that.
Yes, yes.
What was his problem? He did not know what his sons are doing and what his grandson is doing.
And that is very unfortunate, not
So
only
wo
for the
ho gayi na?
company, for the industry.
That's happened.
For the industry.
But why did they not set example? Why they screwed up going into the real estate business? अब आप उसको सच बताइए, SCC क्यों खत्म हो गई? Why Ajit Gulabchand was
Developers?
happy when I went there?
Not
I
on-
went, we must support the PSU.
Not only
the
developers,
central
but contractors
PSU.
as well. Certainly, we
Central
need. Yeah.
PSU के अलावा state PSUs को respect करो. I'm openly
Yes.
telling, my video will be there in the forum.
Yes.
I want Singareni colliers to be as much as respected as an NTPC. My Mahajanko is second biggest utility with capacity. If NTPC has 75 gigawatt, we have something like 40 gigawatt now. Does anybody know Mahajanko is the second biggest in the country? Am I right? अब आप सब बैठे हैं, मैं तो हिम्मत से बोल रहा हूँ. देखिए, इसीलिए our forums are very different from these workshops. We talk about this all. वो सब क्या एक दूसरे को मुंह देखने के लिए रोज आता है, वो नहीं है ये business. We have to go out and change the policy dimension.
Most of the forums, that is
I'm
what I
sorry.
tried to. No, that is what I tried to
I brought
portray.
this to
That
the
most of the forums are basically for just only for the presentations. But this is what you have shared in the morning and over call yesterday as
Why
well.
did we call you?
This is where.
Why did we call you?
Yes.
Because we must know that we all must come to Andhra.
Yeah.
We must now tell them you did a great job. And we must tell the center that they have done a great job. And we must again amplify this. कि अगर उसने किया है तो there are 10 more states who should do it. और हमें इनकी मदद चाहिए. ये president बैठे ना कि तेलंगाना अगर
And as of now, where states are struggling on no, and as on date, most of the states where they are struggling on drafting the policies, rather they can directly refer on the SOP of the Andhra, which has started.
He is the man there. And there is a team, terrific team. Singh is there. उनको involve करिए, इनको involve करिए. Murugesan भी है हमारे. हैं, सब जबरदस्त लोग हैं. So
Like MP started. It's a very sad state. MP started with a tender, but it is where it is. It is stuck in between.
So wonderful.
Nothing happening.
Thank you. Anything else you want to say, sir? Good
Technical and figures will take time.
NTPC जब ये आए थे, Gurdeep got the first award from me. You know, then only, and when he was in the Gujarat Power Corporation Limited when I gave him the award. So then only Gurdeep became NTPC chairman. Thanks for your input. बाबा साहब, floor is yours. आप हमें बताइए, हम लोग सही थे, हमारी discussion कहाँ गई? You are the best man to tell us. And then we will open up if some people want questions. We are ready.
Good evening, everybody. There are some things which one must take home. That is, that you should have a frank and honest discussions, and instead of discussing, you must talk about the work which is doable and work which has been done. We must talk about that, and that's so good. And that is the beauty of Professor Saab. And he gives the task when the man is standing on the podium, not before, not after. So, right, there is in the morning, Professor Saab told me that there is a symbiotic relationship between power and airports. So I accepted, yes, there is a symbiotic relationship between power and airports, right? Airports are power hungry, right? Airports are power hungry, but their consumption is very little. So how are they power hungry? Right? Because they influence the neighborhood to demand power, more and more power. So that is the reason we must concentrate on what is developing around the airports. Airport consume very, as compared to other infrastructure, 20-30% infrastructure consuming your power, or then city consuming 20 to 30%. Airport only 2%, rather 0.5%. But if I include other ancillary, it becomes only 1% of the power consumption goes to the airport. But still, airports are very hungry. Why? Because they induce infrastructure development around airports, which demands more and more power. The power which airport wants, it wants quality power. That power should be available 24/7 And even 24/7 also, for milliseconds it should not go, and that is the reason at the airports we have got 3, 4, 5 layers of backup, because we cannot live without power. So that is the priority of why airport should be considered when we are talking about the powers, right? So my mandate is, I am a communication man, right? I am not a power man, but I have lived and been groomed in the aviation sector over the period, and then I even if I don't drink, but I can gel well with the bar around. So I have been living with the people around, all who's an infrastructure developer, and or they know the power of the investor. So that's why these platforms are honest, frank, and when we discuss, when bring people from all sides, 360-degree people are sitting here now. I don't think any sector is unrepresented here. So now there is a symbiotic relationship between power and airports, and we must, while we are working on the power sector, we must concentrate where the islands of airports are evolving. Every day there are 10, 15 airports, mega airports are being developed in the country. Like I am sitting in Delhi, the Noida airport is coming, Begumpur airport is coming, other airports are coming, and right. So all those airports are going to demand power. And at that time, there was a time, maybe 3 decades back, when we used to park the development of airport because of non-availability of power by the state. But now we are happy that we can think कि बिजली तो मिल जाएगी, बाकी कुछ और मिले ना मिले. So that's very good, and that has happened only once we know that the sector is rich in that. So that's number one. And number two, when we talk about the now power for airports, what for they need the power? They need power for running the airports. They need the ground services. But when the airports come, they bring in a lot of other services like hotel in the city. So that power because of the hotels. And then hospitality, trade, tourism, logistics, a whole of cargo. And even when we develop a new airport, the old one we give it to for use of cargo development, like the logistics. So all those sectors which are very important for development of power sector, which should be very rich. Now there are some pride movements also which airports have given to the power sector. Now development of Cochin airport, which they have world's first airport which has become solar power. Totally, world's first airport. And even US airports is 5% or 10%, and there are 2 or 3 airports, but our even Delhi airport is also self-sustainable on solar power. So like that, there are, right.
We are getting power from Majoli Hydro as well.
Okay, yes, right. The mixer.
In fact, the peak storage, this will go into airport.
100 megawatt they are procuring from Majoli.
Yes, right, exactly right. So like that's how we should associate with the ancillary services. When once we are in the power sector, we should not think that हमारा काम खाली बिजली बनाना ही है, और बिजली जो यूज कर रहा है वहाँ पर क्या चेंज हो रहा है, we should be in sync with them, right? So that's some of the points which I wanted to mention. And then I personally feel what are the power sector surveillance is surveillance is one sector which power sector should concentrate, like we are using helicopters for surveillance. Now the drones have changed over. So this shift when the industry which is doing, we should look for that, right? So no more now helicopters are being used for power sector monitoring, etc. The drones are doing that we should. And then inspection and reliability in inspection, that is what is very important. Then of course there is a rapid growth all along, that those points have been amply talked about. Cochin Airport, I have already mentioned. IG Airport, which is presently 2.5 mega, but they are also going to go 5.4 megawatt consumption. Cochin, I have mentioned. Then Kampgoda Airport also, they presently have 3.35 megawatt, and which they are going to become 10 megawatt. So that we should help them if they need our help, and then we should coordinate with them. And then I mentioned 2 airports are much below as compared to our requirements. So what for airports are important? Because there is a stress on the airport about reducing carbon emissions. Sir mentioned that what for we are doing this, because there is an ecological pressure. And in the age of social media, the people who are residing around the airport, they have become over enthusiastic, and they have been very well informed. There was a time about 20-30 years back when we used to talk about noise emission of the airport, and people said, "Usse kya farak padta hai?" And in Europe there was a night curfew, and they used to say, we cannot tolerate this noise, and we will close the airport after 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. So like that. But now the younger generation, which the schools they are going, they have been taught that you should not buy such projects which are generating or polluting your ecological system. So then tomorrow if you supply some power which is not eco-friendly, and people will say, no, I will buy that company which is eco-friendly, and I will not buy, if the children are told that the power from the coal is poor power. The power is a power. Both powers are the same. But if the children are told that the power produced through the coal is a poor or a bad power, and power produced by alternative mode is a better power, so they will start doing like that. So that concept we should keep a watch on such developments. And we should also always concentrate how we can lower the energy cost of our users. When we have talked about the cost, but we must concentrate, we should do a matrix. How much they are costing, because ultimately everybody is a businessman. So we must concentrate how we can lower the energy cost of our users, and then how we can make them independent. It is not that they should depend on you, aap hi aage uska हमसे भी on करेंगे, आप करेंगे, because they should have multiple, as I mentioned, in airports we want to be 100% self-reliant. So that is the reason the people are thinking that we should be independent in power consumption. And then we should ensure to whomsoever we are serving, that industry or that partner gets sustainable and his reputation is enhanced. Suppose if we are supplying a power to an airport, and we must ensure that he gets 24/7. If we start getting a bad reputation, like recently we had a power breakdown at Delhi airport, and the chaos we get and the poor reputation of the GMR had gone during that period, and everything affects his market share goes down, bad reputation, and then all kind of queries starts coming. So whenever we are involved, we must take care of the sustainability and the reputation of our end user, right? And then, as I mentioned, what way airports enhance the power requirement? We provide connectivity. If today, why in the morning somebody mentioned why we are holding this talk in Hyderabad, because it's better connectivity. So if everything happens in the city, it happens because of that. So it's a job multiplier, right? And it is a tourism destination. It energy infra. Cargo logistics I mentioned. And it provides you global access. So that's why we ultimately airport provides you quality life. So that is the reason we feel that we should do energy in a way. And then there are some points more or less we've been covered by many speakers. And then I think we'll leave the floor to you of any queries, any observations. Thank you very much. And it was a very good interaction. I got more. I maybe gave less, right? But I got enriched. I am sure your copies are also full, right? Thank you. Thank you.
I think we had a long day, and this is a long subject, and it's not the first and last. You'll hear more on this pump storage and hydro. Ajay, Mishra Sahab also, because we had only 6 o'clock that time, we have extended beyond, and I think some food is waiting for us. So if we all agree, then we go ahead and we'll have another day to discuss more. And thanks to all who have come. I'm very grateful to each one who has taken time off here. And I think my phones are available. Anytime you can call me. If I'm not sleeping, I'll pick up your call. Thank you, all of you. And can we have a photo for all who are here? Just quick one. Photographer, please help us. सबकी photo होनी चाहिए. ये हमारा हमेशा होता है. So I feel it should be there. आइए सर.